on for that. And then, and also this is the last class. So if we have any questions, we're going to have three knowledgeable wrestlers here, um, and that can answer all of your questions. And I think Mongo is really great um, at branding. If you look right behind me, we got this guy. He's got Jim Morrison. I don't know. I used to think that was Jesus Christ when I was in high school. I was like, who is that? It's Jim Morrison from The Doors, right? He's got the Santino brothers eyes right there. Why? Because our branding was so wild that when the guy painted it, he was like, I got to pay. I know you love The Doors and Santino brothers. And he put it on there. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And then we'll go ahead and talk about gigging. And I know that maybe some people had some questions. I think Matt may have had some questions, or I think he was explaining his gimmick. And if we have time, I'd love for you to go ahead and go into that and tell everybody about that. And then the best thing is I'm also going to have, right, I was also telling you about Santino Brothers Wrestling. When are we going to open? Right now it's to be determined. I do not have a date for it. I wish I could be optimistic and say it's going to be sometime in the fall, maybe the summer. Right now, I just don't know. I do like the idea of a lot of vaccine talk. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if people are going to want to take it. I do know that maybe if we do have a vaccine, it'll give an option for Santino Brothers to open up. So that's what I do know. And hopefully, it works out. I know that there may be some bumps in the road, but I am prepared to give you a list of wrestling schools that are actually operating right now. And they will have protocols for you to follow. So I'll put that in the notes for everybody tonight. That if they're, as I know, a lot of people are very eager to get started, very eager to get in the ring and get their journey started. And I know that everybody here wants to get started with the Santino brothers, but the reality is we are not operating right now with the in-ring wrestling. So I'll give you an option. And then hopefully you can finish your training off there. Maybe you would, that's what I would always suggest is finish off the training anywhere you start. So wherever you pick, I would go with it. But I know that people do switch classes, especially if maybe like Santino Brothers would open up while you're in the middle of your training. So I'll give you those options and phone numbers and everything you need to get started with wrestling and moving forward. So if you do have any questions, just go ahead and have them ready. We'll go ahead and have them at the end of the class. Since I am bringing on Mongo Santino, we are the Santino brothers. Is he my legitimate brother? Not blood brother? No, but he is my brother. And Mongo came from Slammers. He's the one that I always talk about so Mongo came from Slammers, and we are like the yin and the yang. He came from Slammers, which is a very reputable wrestling school out here in Southern California from the late 80s to the late 90s. And I didn't go to a wrestling school. I was almost like in the backyard style aspect of breaking into it. I think that's what really kind of makes the Santino brothers works, because we definitely have the two different thinkings behind what we do. So it started off, Santino Brothers itself started off as a tag team wrestling. It was always just supposed to be, it was supposed to be Sonny Santino and Santana Santino, which I think is the same person, to be honest with you. Sonny is just short for Santana, right? And that was the Santino Brothers. And so, but Mongo wanted to have T-shirts, and we had T-shirts, and our gear had the Santino Brother logo on it. We had 8x10s with the Santino Brothers logo on it. We had a banner, our banner that made us start the actual wrestling school, Santino Brothers, because we had all this material with our logo on it. And so just trying to be a tag team team. And we really couldn't get booked as a tag team. They'd want to book Mongo by himself, or they'd want to book me by myself. We tried to get it going, really couldn't get the going as a tag team. Couldn't really get that going, but we ended up having all this material. So the material, we ended up switching it towards an actual wrestling school, Santino Brothers Wrestling. And but it all started with the branding. It all started with Mongo Santino wanting to create a logo and then put it on everything, put it on stickers, put it on T-shirts, and make a deal with the students and say, hey, you know what? Here's a shirt, and I'm going to give you a shirt for free. And that was the deal with the students we had in the backyard when we started. And he'd give them a shirt, and he would say, but you have to wear it everywhere wrestling that you go. I mean, it was a no-brainer for a new person coming in. You're giving me a free shirt. It's almost like a rite of passage. Um, and just doing all that branding and always making people proud of Santino brothers, right? Putting in the work in the ring, right? Making people proud of it. Mongo really always trying to get different gear, sweats or beanies or hats, all kind track suits, all kinds of different things, to really push the name. People started wanting to wear it. People started wanting to buy it, right? And it's just really Mongo pushing it, right? Having having a name and a brand behind what you do, having it being reputable. But it really becomes, your calling card, because you, as a professional wrestler, are a brand. You are a business, and that's how you should be treating it. And if you start looking at the wrestlers that you see on the national level, you'll start understanding that, the different brands that everybody has. But I'm getting a little bit off track. I was introducing Mongo Santino from Slammers Wrestling, and he actually got to train with Vern Langdon. And I'm gonna actually, instead of me talking anymore, for Mongo, I'm gonna just go ahead and let him introduce himself, talk a little bit about himself, let everybody know who he is, what his background is, and then he'll go right into the branding, and then Ruby and I will be here to answer any questions or even follow up with Mongo. All right, Mongo, I'm going to put mine on mute so you can take yours off. How's that sound?
All right. All right. Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Hope you had a great day. Uh, first of all, I want to say I'm very proud of you guys for sticking with this 6-week class. Sticking to anything these days is very difficult, but you guys did it because there's so many distractions with cell phones and TV and so many different stuff. It's very hard to keep focused, and you guys did it, so I'm very proud of you guys. First of all, I'm Mongo Santino, one half of the Fighting Santino brothers. I've been in the wrestling business for 22 years. Like Chaos stated earlier, I came from Slammers Wrestling Federation. That's when I learned branding. If you ever went into a Slammers wrestling gym, you'll see Slammers logo everywhere, and that's where I picked it up originally, just branding. And then if you went to XPW, you saw the XPW logo everywhere, and you just kind of put two and two together. That's just business. It's just part of building your brand. Is another department is branding. Came from Slammers. I was very proud of Slammers. They showed me a lot in professional wrestling. I went to training for 2.5 years before I actually got my first match. I felt like they took their time with me and developed me really good. I left there out of there very confident in my wrestling ability. I felt like if someone was taking their liberties on me, I knew how to protect myself. I feel like if a wrestler called any type of move, I was prepared to take any type of bump because they showed me, snap bumps, high bumps, any move that was thrown my way, I was ready to take it. And I was really grateful for Slammers. They were kind of cheap back in the day, but I would pay double for my education of what they gave me. I left there super happy. I feel like I spent my money. My money was well spent at Slammers Wrestling Federation. I went on to the wrestling circuit, wrestled a little bit, and then started producing shows. Hooked up with Chaos. We did a Santino Brothers. In 2004, we started the brand. Actually, our first match was in August 2004. And we knew as a tag team, we had to build a brand, as a tag team. So we went down to Pico Rivera swap meet. And we saw a pair of eyes. It wasn't our eyes at the time. Those were back off eyes. And we knew we couldn't use them for legal reasons. So we had to create our own eyes, And so we had a buddy of mine. He created the eyes, came up with 6 different eyes. And those are the ones that you see today. These are the eyes we picked. And I believe we came up with the name Santino Brothers in Hollywood at Chaos's house one day. Like I said, we were just 2 wrestlers floating around at that time. Just we didn't really know what to do. Chaos was coming off XPW, just kind of folded down, and he was working the circuit. Same thing here. I was just working the circuit, and we said, hey, we look great. Let's become a tag team. So one day we were just at his house in Hollywood, and we started going through names, and it came up with Santino Brothers. Got the logo, put it together, and then, like you stated earlier, we got onto the scene, and it was a little rough. They didn't want to book us together. And like I said, we started producing shows. We said, you know what, if no one's going to book us, we got to do something. And we were very confident that we could produce great wrestling shows. So we got a sponsor, and we started producing these wrestling shows in Los Angeles at the Grand Olympic. And we started bringing down like El Santos and El Mascaras, and we started doing pretty good with those shows, drawing some good crowds, learning the more business side of it.
I don't know if everyone can hear me on Mongo's mic, but can you? Okay. Hey, you know what we learned? We were with this guy. We call him Pops.
Correct.
We called him Pops, and what he taught us. What did he teach us, Mongo?
Promote.
Yes, promote. Right. We were on every major radio station in Los Angeles. That sounds really cool. We were on every major radio station in Los Angeles. Reason being is because he wouldn't pay his bill, so he would go to the next. We'd go from Kiss FM to Power 106, and so on and so forth. But what it taught us, right, pay your bill, right, number one, but promote. We were in a major radio station in Los Angeles, right? Then he went down to K-Day because he had burned all the other bridges. But then also we were in the major newspaper, either Los Angeles Times or LA Times. And then what else was it, Mongo? Oh, and then commercials on Monday Night Raw, right? Were those the three major things, right? TV, print,
paper, and
radio, right? And just really promote. What's the biggest problem, though, Mongo, with that? Who's got the money to do that?
Right, who got the money to do that?
What do you have to say about that? Like, is there money everywhere?
There is money everywhere. You just got to find it. There's money everywhere. Look at
right. There's like, even in times right now, right? Like Amazon, or even like what companies are doing great right now?
Amazon,
right?
Walmart.
Yeah, we hear about all this, the unemployment, this, that, but there's somebody out there that has one that was looking to sponsor something, looking to put their money towards, and that's what Pops would do. He would try to figure out what he could do, how he did not have to flip the whole, because it was $20,000 to get just for the radio station gig, right?
Right.
It was about, and this was what, 15 years ago, 2005.
Right.
So it was $20,000 for that, and I want to say easily for a colored advertisement in the LA Weekly. I think they charged him like $10,000, and I think that was for maybe 4 weeks,
right.
So 4 issues. So all this really starts adding up, and you say, man, yeah, of course, I can do all this if I had the money. How do I do it? Right?
Right.
But I just want to interrupt there and just say, like, man, that was a really huge step, was Pop, who we honestly didn't get along with, We honestly didn't get along with, but he really taught us, right? Even though maybe he could be like, hey, I don't fuck tech guy or whatever, we understood this guy knows what he's doing. He knows how to draw people. People would say, what did Steve say? His son was the guy we were training, and then we want to run a show. So they got the Grand Olympic Auditorium. We booked the same day, February 26th. It was the same day as PWG. And Steve comes up and says, hey, I think we should change our date because PWG is running that day. What do we tell him, Mongo?
Who cares about PWG?
Right? PWG
right,
was
who cares?
about 300 people at the time.
Right.
Turn around, we threw 5,000 people that night. Right? But just it became, how do you do it? Everyone says, oh, well, because you brought in the luchadors, which is true. But the next week, Santos and the same names would be at a show in Compton, and it would be maybe 200, 300 at best. So how do you go from 200, 300 at best to 3,000? It's not yet. It has a lot to do with the name. You have to get El Santo. You got to get somebody popular. But if nobody knows that they're there, if nobody knows that they're going to be on the show, nobody's going to show up. And so it takes that money to promote, to put it in there. How do you do it? You have a strategy. I'm sorry, Mongo.
No, it's okay. Keep going.
Yeah. So with the promoting, you know, so it's just how do you do it with like okay, same thing with the wrestling school. Okay, so I have my brand, and Mongo's going to talk more about making your brand and making your logo and stuff like that and how to put it in. I'll go into a little bit detail. Okay, how do you go from the backyard of a backyard in Joey Rico Dynamite's house to become one of the most reputable wrestling schools in the United States, if not the world? I don't know. I could be arguable. Maybe it's just arguable with me. But how do you do that? Well, we started with always having a curriculum, and I thought that was number one. But how do you do that? Great training. You got to train them the right way. But still, there's a lot of people that are training the right way still. You don't have a WWE background like some of these trainers. How do you put your name on the map? How do you make a name for yourself? So, well, we definitely had to have great training, discipline, right? You have to put in the hard work, all that. Like none of this works, none of the branding or any of that social media works unless you put in all that hard work. So how do you do it? We said, well, I'm scared. I do know. Pops taught me. Promote. Right, but we're a wrestling school. We're in a backyard, right? Like, how do you do it? Like, we don't have money. Well, you have to make the budget. You have to start now. You're becoming now, and this is the part I hate. I just want to train people, and I just want to wrestle. That's what I always tell Mongo or I tell Sylvia. I just want to train people, and I just want to wrestle. Well, I have to deal with zoning laws, and I have to deal with business license, and I have to deal with marketing, and I have to deal with all this different stuff that I don't even want to be part of, but I have to. Because now this is my brand. And so I had to find a budget, how to promote. Where do I promote? Google Ads, right? Google, we started, what year did we start promoting Google Ads?
2009, 2008.
So we're really early in the game, 3 years in, right? Maybe 3 years in on Google Ads and promoting that. And then when Facebook came and said, we're going to do ads, trying to figure out, how do you do ads? So I don't know. I had no clue. You know what I went to? I went to YouTube and try to figure it out. How do I do Google ads, or how do I do Facebook ads? And Facebook makes it so much easier. Google was so hard. Facebook just says put WWE, put wrestling, and maybe do $5 a day. Figure out your budget. What's your budget? $150 to promote you? Maybe you have a cool move that you want to promote, right? So now I'm trying to make it practical for you as a wrestler when you're a wrestler. So you maybe have you're in your dojo and you do this cool sequence, this cool spot, and it's maybe 15 to 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds. Why? Because social media wants just a little snack. You got to be really good to get people's attention for 10, 15, 20 minutes. You know what I mean? You have to be really good to really, like, even when we're watching our favorite show, what are we doing? We're on our phone. Man, I'm watching it. I'm watching, let me put it down. I have to pay attention here, right? So that's the expansion time. So we're thinking about those social media snacks that you can put on there. And you can even start advertising $150 a month, $5 a day. That's what you're going to invest to maybe let promoters know that wouldn't normally follow your feed, and let them know that you're there, right? That's one way to do it. Maybe you have merch. Maybe you have, I don't know, right? What are you trying to sell? What are you selling? I'm selling my brand, my wrestling, So that's, because I'm just trying to think outside the box of what I would do if I was a young wrestler right now with the social media tools I have, but now with the 42-year-old smart brain, or at least smarter brain than when I was 22. I didn't know shit. I didn't know anything. So what would I do? I would try to figure out investing on that, get a little buzz for myself, get a name for myself. Where we talked to Brody and Jake, like, how did you start getting those bookings and getting out there? Really putting in the work. There is no secret to it. There are little tricks that we can utilize to let people know. Every time I talk to Freddie Rosser, Darren Young, the former Darren Young, he goes, man, I always see your ads all over my Instagram and phone, always advertising your online classes or whatever the case is. And that's just part of what Mongo really drilled into me about. I'm even getting yelled at too. I just posted a picture of Brian Kendrick Throwback Thursday, and he's like, "Why are you posting a picture if you don't have him go to a link of any sort?" And he put the link, and so I went back and said, "Okay, well, I put it scheduled out there, and I had to go and fix him and put a link because I know, like, well, he's right. If I'm not gonna maybe put a link, why should I do that?" What do people think about Santino brothers? Very aggressive. Always a link. What's a link? I get surprised today when people go, I go, where's the link? Buy my t-shirt. Where's the link, Darwin? Sausage link? Darwin didn't say that, but I had a student say that one. He goes, sausage link? And I go, are you serious? Like, you don't understand what a link is? You know, so you're telling me to go. And I even when I worked for my boss, I said, so where do you want, when I was doing his ads, where do you want me to send them? Do you want me to send them to the home page? No, send them exactly to the page you want them to see, your sell page, right? Take them all the way to the page you want. You can't expect them to see your website and then search your website because you work so hard on it. I know we all work hard on our websites, and we think everybody's going to be blown away when they see it. They're going to want to search the whole. They don't. My mom don't even care. She don't only want to search the whole thing, right? It don't mean nothing to her, you know. So she will if I say, Mom, look at it. Yeah, of course she'll look at it, but you know, she'll look at the website. That's it. So you can send them exactly where you want to go, you know. So it's so important. Ruby, did you want to add something? I see that you posted something there about hashtags. Put your 2 cents in there.
Oh no,
please.
we were going over in the chat. They were talking about promotions, and you could basically on any platform you could pretty much push yourselves. For some platforms, you need to have that business account, like Instagram. I've never, when I had just a regular Instagram account, I never saw the things to be able to promote my videos. But having a business account, you can promote your videos, which means you could pay to like put yourself up there on the feed. It's very similar to how Facebook does it. But also like Twitter, almost any social media platform nowadays, go ahead, and if you have business accounts, maybe some for personal, you could do the promotions on pretty much all of them. Also, another thing I wanted to touch on, you were talking about like put your link up and stuff like that. Whenever you're posting stuff up that you're essentially using to promote you, not just to build your brand, not just to get across what your brand is, but when you're putting something out there for yourself, I always say like have a website and funnel everything to your website. Like you want to, if you're putting something on Instagram, funnel them back to your website, because, and Mongo will talk more about this, obviously, that's where you could get like the email captures, and it's just a good idea that you have like everything traces through a rabbit hole and everything winds up back to like your page, what your thing is. And I heavily promote websites and building your own website.
Thank you, Ruby. Yeah, so it's just so important. Mongo would probably yell at me about, hey, put on your website, let them get, I need you to capture their emails. And I have it at the bottom. He's like, you got to put it on top. So, but I just want to, you kind of threw me through that loop into talking about Pops and FCW and promoting the show. And then Joe mentioned about the promoting to an MMA and karate audience. I'm over here trying everything. I don't just stick to wrestling. I try to think, what else do I like, man? I like MMA, so I try to throw it out there and just thinking outside the box as opposed to just lucha libre, wrestling, or pro wrestling, or independent wrestling, or WWE. And these are the key words. And Mongo will talk more about key words if you don't know what they are, and it's okay if you don't. You know, even hashtags. Like I know what hashtags are. I didn't really understand that actually people search the hashtags. I didn't understand that until I think last year. Sometime like in midsummer last year, that's when I found out, oh, people are searching these hashtags. That's what it's about. I didn't know that. Now I'm supposed to be savvy, you know? But Mongo, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right, guys. Going back to branding, okay? Branding, you want to pick a good name, what you are. You don't want to call yourself Colossal Chris and be 110 pounds. You want to be Colossal Chris. So you want to pick a great name. Also, pick a great logo. Really important. You don't have to get all crazy with a bunch of different colors. You can keep it simple. You know, 1 or 2 colors, especially when you start printing on stuff. If you ever do silk screen, if you have too many colors, it's going to be very expensive. So just try to pick a logo, 1 or 2 colors, keep it simple. And me personally, I always like it to be of the character of yourself, but obviously too many can't do that. But that's what I like. And that's next would be social media, okay? And I say social media next because if you have no money, you can't purchase a website.
Well, can I mention one thing on
Sure.
you talked about pick your name?
Correct.
pick 5 names, right? So pick 5 names, and names that you really like. Like you gotta like the number 1 name as much as you like the number 5 name. Pick 5 names. Hey, if you want to mix it up, this last name with that first name with that same last name. Hey, do what you gotta do. Have it make sense. Have it be smooth. Have it roll. But pick 5 that you like. You can't pick one just because coach says I have to pick 5. Because what happens is sometimes they say, usually when you're going to a larger company, they'll say, hey, give me 5 names because I don't care how great your name is. I don't know. Jake Atlas got lucky. You know, he got his own name. You know, he's already started branding it. But is he really? You know, because now it's their name. You know, so pick 5 names. They maybe make you change your name if you're on the independents and you have a great name. Okay, so what are the other 4 names that I love? Or maybe add another one. You know, but you have to really love them because then they're going to ask you for those 5 names. You give it to them and they may pick one. So that's really important on that. So if you have your characters, right? So if you want your character, your 5 names should maybe be based around that character. If you want to change characters, right? If I want to go from Rock Superstar Chaos, I should have 5 Rock Superstar type names. If I want to be Voodoo Chaos, I should have 5 Voodoo Chaos type names. And so your name shouldn't be a totally different character. Pick 5 names that represent that same character and just be prepared to use them. Be prepared never to use them ever. Okay? But I just wanted to add that.
No, that's fine.
On that, Marco.
And I normally say, when I say pick a name, always say ask Chaos first. Always ask for advice, ask for help. Just, you know, because sometimes people pick some weird names. Just ask for help if you get stuck. Next would be social media. And I say social media, if you have no money, social media is a great way to brand yourself. Same thing with companies. I tell them if you don't have a website, create your name, create your logo, and create all your social media platforms the same. So when someone goes to your Twitter, it matches your Instagram, it matches your YouTube, it matches your Facebook. Really important so people don't get confused. Okay. What you want to do too, and I highly recommend this. I see a lot of mistakes because you know you're becoming a professional wrestler. You're becoming a character. People look up to you, and I always say, have your character account, have your professional account, and then have your personal account. Keep them 2 different. And I always say, try to keep it really professional, like myself. Might happen, but you wouldn't see me posting beers every weekend, getting drunk. I don't drink, by the way, but just giving you an example. Doesn't really show great professionalism on my part if you just see me drinking each week and stuff like that. Customers would probably look at me and be like, where's my money being spent? I mean, is it being spent on a drunk or an alcoholic or something like that? So
yeah, I mean, we've had students in the past that will post about, you know, smoking weed and this, that, and the other. And if you want to like wrestle at the national level, that's something that you don't want to have to, you know, they don't want that. And then at the same time, you don't want to have to now go back to your social media and start erasing stuff, right? Then it goes back to that pro wrestling tip, right? Don't post stupid shit on social media. Post meaningful content. If you want to post about how, you know, maybe you're changing and passing the law with marijuana, maybe that could be different. But if you just smoking weed, I don't know if that does anything for you or your character besides that people think, hey, are they going to be fucking high when they wrestle? You don't want anyone to actually ever say that. Are they fucking high? So I botched the move. Maybe you botched the move just because you slept, there was drink on the floor. Maybe you botched the move just because it happened. Maybe it was the other person's fault, but they go, oh, that person needs to get high online, so maybe it was their fault. That's why this person got hurt. So that's why I always say, hey, I can get it. Maybe you're an advocate, but you're not Rob Van Dam. You're Rob Van Dam, do what you want to do. Former world champion, do what you want to do. But you're not Rob Van Dam. You know? Get to that level because, I mean, really at the end, he had the belt. That was one of his downfalls, was being pulled over and being high, you know? So really at the end of the day, I would say don't even mess with that. Don't mess with it on social media. You know, don't put it on social media. It's just like, that's just like saying stupid shit on social media. If you have to question, is this something good that I should put? Don't put it. Right? If you have to question it, that's it. I'm sorry, I wanted to add.
No, it's okay. I'll give you a personal experience. was help Dave Marquez produce Primetime Live, sitting down with the executive producer, and we're going through a wrestler's profile. I'm trying to get this guy a job, and we go to his Instagram profile, and every picture we kind of looked at was inappropriate. Nothing to do with wrestling. It just was just inappropriate material. So for me as a trainer, trying to get this guy a job, and showing the executive producer this guy's Instagram, and it was just nothing but inappropriate stuff. It's very tough. It's very hard. Now it's making me look bad as a trainer trying to get this guy a job. So just keep your social media clean, professional. People look up to you guys. You probably don't think about it. But like I said, if you start becoming a superhero, you know, and you want to keep that clean image, like Kev said, you want to start working on a major company, they're going to look through that stuff. Every major company does. It's like getting a real job. You got to take yourself serious. That's really, really important. You're a professional wrestler now. You're just not some average Joe. And just like I say earlier, guys, I'm really proud of you because you guys are here 6 weeks in taking this class. It shows discipline. So it shows me that you have the capabilities of executing everything that we would ask in professional wrestling, bro. Because being a professional wrestler is not easy. It takes a lot of discipline, a lot of knowledge, a lot of how to act appropriately in the streets. You know, you don't want to be acting a fool and someone records you and throws it on social media and kind of damages your brand. You always want to be professional out there, and people are going to test you. You know, they're going to see how bad you are and want to fight you and pick on you, and you just got to be professional and say, hey, bro, I don't get paid to fight you, and just go on with your business. And that's part about being a professional. You know what I mean?
Jeff Calhoun, Matt asked, do you want to make sure not to follow your other accounts? I think sometimes you might be your only hype man, you know, like, should you do it? I don't know. Is it embarrassing? I don't know. Hey, but who else is going to hype you up if you ain't doing it yourself? I know that might not be your exact question, but if you don't want people to find your personal social media, you probably shouldn't be following your account. Just log into your account, to your wrestler account. That's what I think on that.
Same thing too. You know, if you put your family members out there, I posted a picture of my niece, and then all the boys, you know, started hitting her up. They didn't know any better. It was my mistake. I should have never posted it, but that was just another experience of social media, just trying to keep them both separate. It was just out of my experience. So that's what I would do. I have 2 different Instagram accounts, but I don't link them together because eventually people would figure it out, and I just don't want my family to be harassed. You know, so that's why I just keep it separate. And if I'm gonna rant, I'll rant on my personal one because I don't want people to look down on my character one. You know.
What are we ranting about?
Oh, whatever you got to get off your chest, life in general.
We're not ranting about wrestling and like, right? Let me be honest. I watched SmackDown on Friday, and I said, I don't know. It looks like a American Gladiators meets America's Got Talent or something. Like, it's just so like lights everywhere, and I was just like, man, I like wrestling. That's just me. I'm not saying it was bad whatsoever. I was just surprised by it. Like, it looked like it was very a live play on NBC kind of something, and it just seemed very different to me than what I'm used to seeing as wrestling. Do I have thoughts about it? Do I think it's yeah, I do. I don't like it. That's just one person's opinion. Should I go on social media and say that? And especially if that's where most of you want to get a job, right? Or how about this? Maybe you're talking smack about SmackDown and you want to work at New Japan. Well, you know what? If I was New Japan, I would say, like, look at these people. They're like loose cannons. They're just talking shit. You know what's going to happen? Once they're pissed at us because we didn't put them in the main event and give them the belt and do all this shit for them, they're going to just start talking shit about us. That's what I would think. Whenever I see someone complaining and bitching and moaning about anybody, I've seen recently about Dave Marquez, just makes me go like, I don't know if I'd want to use them. You know, they seem like a loose cannon. So if you're going to take that Jim Cornette, you know, way of thinking, you got to remember, right? You're not Rob Van Dam, you're not Jim Cornette, right? They built their brands, right? So people are used to it. But and I think this goes back to really don't say stupid shit on social media, right? But I don't want to tie your hands and zip your mouth because you still have to do something that's meaningful content. We all have to have something to say, right? Everybody, right? We all have something to say, but how can we get our message out there in a way that people want to hear it? You still got to do that, right? But I don't think shitting on other companies or letting your pissed off opinion about something is going to help your wrestling career. Maybe it will. I don't know. And you could probably always tell me somebody that it works for. Does it work for you? I don't know. It's up to you to test it, I guess, and see if. I mean, do you want to do that? You want Tommy Dreamer to come up to you and say, "You just ruined your career," you know? So I think it always goes back to just think of creative content that you could post on social media. I think like Joey Janela, I think, was really great at that, especially like I think he made a comeback to GCW after being injured or his leg, and he did a really cool video. And I think he used like copyrighted music, but still, right, gets the point across. But with meaningful content, thinking about stuff that I could post that's gonna help my brand. That's gonna help this, the wrestler. Yeah, you might get a lot of likes because everyone else is like, yeah, I don't like that wrestling either. But it's not gonna help you if you want to, really get a job there. I'd look at you like a complainer. Should I say do it or not? I don't know. You can test it out. Test the waters if you want. But it's up to you. Sorry, Mongo.
No, it's okay. One thing I feel about that is you want to be coachable and you want to be workable. I want to be able to work with you. At the same time, if there's something that you don't agree with, I would like for you to pull me to the side and say, Mongo, I don't agree with this, or can we do this? Exploding or going on social media complaining about it, I feel like it is an unprofessional way compared to just pulling me to the side and say, hey, can we do this? Or I don't agree with this. By Kay saying he doesn't want to zip your mouth is, there's going to be some times where you're going to have to speak up. You're going to have to say stuff, and you're going to be like, well, can I add this into the match, or can I do this? So, just speak, and you got to know the difference when someone's taking advantage of you. So that's why we say we don't want to zip your mouth. You got to know the difference, and you feel like you're being taken advantage of, to speak up. If there's something you feel like you could add value to your match, speak up, say something. It's really important.
You know what adds to, right? We're talking about branding and marketing as a wrestler. Okay, so now we talked about not saying stupid shit on social media. Instead, make meaningful content. You know what that leads to, right? It leads to what? Like, what's good content? What's good content, Mongo? Digital flyers, videos.
Education, teaching people, showing people that you're evolving as an artist. Really important. People just think, oh, people are gonna. Some people don't post because they're concerned about other people's opinion. You should be concerned about people that do care about your stuff, people that do liking it. Getting into the professional wrestling world, it's a really cool job. I have nothing to say bad about professional wrestling. It is what you make it. And I'm pretty happy way the professional wrestling industry is what's given to me. Gave me some great brothers, great school, great students, great friends. I lost track right there. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, right. So we're building our content. What does that lead to? It leads to making flyers, video, podcast, right? So what is that also leading to? Who knows Photoshop here? Does anybody know Photoshop? I got a couple of hands. I got a good amount of hands. I got Noel from Primo Henio. You should learn Photoshop, or at least some kind of photo editing a tool or app that would be on your phone. That's what makes it so easy. Right before we had to learn Photoshop, and then we would get Photoshop. You'd pay like, I don't know how much, $600
right.
for it. You get the disc, and you'd look at all these buttons, and you'd be like, what do I do? You had no clue. And you just, maybe somebody would show you, maybe you would trial and error. But I think a lot of these apps, and even like I have an editing app for video on my phone, and it's so easy. They make it so user friendly. I think the Young Bucks talked about how they wrote their entire book on their phone, right? They edit the entire Being the Elite. They film it and edit it on their phone. So start thinking about utilizing the tools that are out there. I think the apps make it so much easier. I think maybe even getting on Photoshop is maybe a little bit more challenging. I mean, I do it from the desktop computer or the laptop computer, but you need to figure that out and how to do it well, right? Maybe you have somebody that's doing it for you. Maybe they're doing it great. I still believe you have to be able to do a flyer in 1 hour because it's the middle of the night and you have to have it ready by the morning. You know, you might not have time to call Eli Everfly. Eli Everfly does all the flyers for Santino Brothers. And they look great, killer flyers, look awesome. He does all the videos. Can I do them? Yes, can I do them? Are they as great? No, but I could do them if I had to do them. I can't get the job done. You know, I have him do it because he does a better job. But what couldn't I do in the beginning? I didn't have any money to pay a guy to make me a flyer. I didn't have any money to pay a video guy. That's why it goes back to what Tracy Smothers told me. You have to get a job to pay for your wrestling habit. Because even if you're going to do it yourself, you still got to get Photoshop. I don't know. Maybe you can get a bootleg version. I don't know, but you still got to pay somebody to get it. You know what I mean? Or the video editing tool. I think you can use it, but they catch you. They get you. You want to do some cooler stuff? Yeah, you got to pay the $4.99 a month. You know, so you got to figure out what's gonna work best for you. But I think you need to look into utilizing and learning Photoshop. And if you don't know how like YouTube works or even Daily Motion, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, right? How many times do we hear people say, I don't know Instagram stories. I don't know what that is. I'm on Instagram, right? You should be the one that has to figure everything out. And especially when a social media comes out with something new. Who came out with something new right now? I think it was Twitter. Twitter came out with stories, right? And everybody was, I'm not going to put stories. You should throw your stories up there. You know why? Because they're trying something new out and they appreciate the people trying the new stuff out. And what do? They throw it on a good algorithm. I found that out with our YouTube channel. They said, hey, we're introducing stories. And I said, oh, what stories? And I said, all right, let me just start putting some stuff up. It was just like every other story, but it was YouTube stories. And I go back to my phone, 5 days later, I put like 4 or 5 videos up and I'm looking at it and I'm like, just 459,000 views in 6 days. And I couldn't understand it. And I said, well, that's because, and I talked to my buddy and he goes, it's because it's new. And so they threw you on the great algorithm to let people see it because everybody's saying, I don't want something new. So you see a social media that adds something new. What does Facebook just add this year? Chat rooms or Zoom rooms, right? Probably should try it. I don't know. They probably throw you on the algorithm so people start watching your shit, paying attention to it. But I know we see this new thing and we're like, I don't need that. We have Zoom or we have Periscope or we have this, that, and the other. Whenever social media is throwing something out there, as the wrestler, I would suggest try it out. It probably get put on a great algorithm. Because we're trying to get on a great algorithm for Instagram or Facebook, and it's like those are done days already now, right? You got to start paying for ads on those to really get on, unless it's a viral video. But otherwise, yeah, that was my 2 cents on that. On marketing and right, you got to start branding meaningful content, not talking smack. So what do we got to do? Make this meaningful content and utilize all the tools on social media, but also learning the Photoshop editing, how to podcast. Podcast is like you don't even need equipment anymore. They make the phones, they make the laptops so great today that you really don't even need equipment. Yeah, does it sound as great as someone has a microphone? No, but does it get the job done? Yeah. That's all you need. You know, that's what Gary Vee says. Don't worry about trying to get the best equipment. Just start. You know, just start producing your content. If you're not listening to Gary Vee, it's great on business and marketing and branding. And I would look him up. Sorry, Mongo.
No, it's okay. So guys, if I was you, I would start filming and taking photos of everything you do from now on, because if you want to be a professional wrestler, you start your story. Hey, I'm going to start off my jog today, start off my professional wrestling career, and here we go, and just tell your story. Try to take a photo, build a couple of content that day so you can spread it out during the whole week so you don't get overwhelmed by creating content every day for your social media. YouTube is going to be your most powerful marketing tool because it shows video. It's also like free advertising, you know, so I would highly recommend having a YouTube, a Facebook, an Instagram, and a Twitter. Basic. I know it's a lot. I know it's 4 or 5 of them, but like I say, YouTube is going to be your most powerful marketing tool. A lot of people have Facebook. Instagram's really popular right now, and
Why is YouTube going to be the most popular?
because they get to see you and they get to see that you're a real person compared to just a graphic or something. They really, if I just showed you my eyes, you wouldn't know who I am. If you saw a video of me talking to you personally, you'd be more welcome to buy something. You see that I'm human.
Also, what's the #1 website in the world?
Ooh, I would have to say Google, right?
Google. What's #2?
I would probably say YouTube or Facebook.
Right, YouTube, right? And what's YouTube? It's also a search engine. You know, so now you can actually be part of that search engine without having to pay for the ads. You know, looking into detail about all your keywords. What keywords should I use? You know, thinking about the keywords, right? Pro wrestling, maybe independent wrestling, but also thinking outside the box. What other keywords? What am I into? I'm into wrestling, right? But what am I also into? How many people are into horror and wrestling? How many people are into animation and wrestling? How many people are gamers and wrestlers, right? So like thinking about that, like, so it's not just that aspect of the keywords. So just, you got to play around with different things, see what works, what doesn't work. But yeah, utilize YouTube as a huge tool, a mega tool. I mean, plus once you get 1,000 subscribers, they'll start paying you. Do they pay you a lot? No, not much. But if you do get enough views, they will.
It adds up.
Yeah, it will add up. You'll make a lot of money if you have meaningful content on there. What does YouTube really want? Education, right? Entertainment, right? And that could be you. I caught myself one time watching Sammy Guevara's vlog, and he was just walking down the street. He went into a tanning bed, and he goes, "Oh, look, these are the goggles that they use. Oh, here's the they give you this lotion for free. Oh, these bastards didn't give me a fucking towel. Oh no, here's the towel. The towel's right." And I'm watching it, and I just go, I stopped. I go, "What the fuck am I doing?" But I was just watching it. I got caught up in it. Meaningful content, right? I couldn't imagine myself, but I find myself watching that same shit on reality shows. What are they doing? They're making cakes. Okay, you're just watching them make cakes? Yeah, but there's problems involved, right? I don't know, but it becomes, right? So get thinking about what works. Maybe you don't want to be on video. Well, if you want to be a wrestler, get prepared to be on video. You know, that same thing. I'm not a talker. Well, be prepared to talk. Podcast. You could also do a podcast. You know. But all these different things, utilizing these tools and the social media tools, because YouTube is the second biggest website in the world, and you could be a part of it. You can have your little piece of YouTube on there, right? It'll be youtube.com/WillieO, you know? So definitely I would utilize all these tools that they're giving you. I've always believed it. I said it for a year. I've been saying it for years. One day we're going to look back at this era in time and say, wow, remember we could just make a TV show and post episode 1 every week, episode 2, episode 3, and just post it on YouTube, and millions and millions and billions of people, it was access to billions of people. Yeah, now they make us pay for that now, right? I can only imagine one day, yeah, you want to be on YouTube and broadcast your shit, you're going to have to pay. I can only imagine, right? Everything's like that. It starts that way. So I would utilize it right now while you can. You know, and that's with everything. You're not a TikTok person, get on it. You want to be a wrestler. You never know. You might find you have better ROI, return on your investment on TikTok. You know, rather than, I really like Instagram, but I don't know. Maybe you're just getting so much more play on TikTok. Maybe you're getting more play on LinkedIn.
Hey, real quick.
You got to utilize all these tools that are out there.
Real quick, Joey.
Go for it, Ruby.
Okay, I didn't know if you hear me. Sorry. Matt Vandergriff was actually utilizing TikTok to post wrestling videos, and one of the ones he posted got like upwards of 100,000 views. So it's a little 50-50 because it kind of goes against the violence community standards for TikTok, but if you could get something up there, you're getting views. Also, at the same time, I post my wrestling on YouTube, but in addition to that, I also did a Daily Motion, and I posted my stuff on Daily Motion, and anywhere that I could upload videos to, I was working with that to upload videos just to get content out there so people could see it on different platforms. And Daily Motion actually has a lot of wrestling on it, so that's one that people don't really think about. if you're just looking up wrestling, it's out there.
All right, guys. Now here comes the important part and the scary part. We did all this hard work creating all these social media accounts and posting videos and stuff like that, right? And a lot of wrestlers, a lot of business owners tell me I have my social media and stuff like that. I don't need a website. Ooh, and I get scared right there. Because what happens if one day you have people that hate you, or someone hacks into your Twitter or your Instagram and takes all your 100,000 followers away? And you're a small business, right? And they just took all your business away. What are you left with? Zero, right? If they took your Instagram account, your Twitter, your Facebook, they hacked into it. And that's why I believe having a website is really, really, really important. It's your real estate on the internet. And being a professional wrestler, like we were talking about, you're a small business, you're an independent contractor, okay? And what you want to do with this website is you want to post meaningful content where people go to your website, and you want to capture their lead. You want to capture an email. This whole purpose with social media stuff is to lead them somewhere. So when Chaos was talking about a link, he was talking about your URL, another name as a hyperlink. It's called a URL, hyperlink, or a link. And that's what is www.santinobrothers.net. You know, www.amazon.com. That's called a link hyperlink. By saying that, okay, when they get to your website, like for me and Chaos, we pay for advertising, we pay for Google and Facebook ads. And if they go to our website and we don't capture nothing from them, we kind of wasted our money on advertising. Okay, so we want to capture something for them. So for you guys, I would give something away for free. I would give them, you know, some photos, a workout, whatever you feel like your fans want something. I'll give 5 tips away for free, and in exchange, you'd collect their email. Okay, so now when you come out with new merchandise, new t-shirt, bracelet, sweaters, whatever, you would do an email blast, and that's how you start generating a little bit more revenue for you as a professional wrestler. You know, it feels great when you wake up in the morning and you got a $15 sale and you check your PayPal. So creating this website, like I said, is your real estate on the internet. You want to create a great bio page. So when people go there, it's the second page they check out the most on a website for some reason. So create a great bio page. Post some pictures, some great pictures of yourself. Pictures go a long way. If you don't know a photographer, I would definitely spend the money on getting a photographer. But with today's phones too, if you know someone that could take photos from you, I would definitely do it. But a photo could take you a long way. Like you said, if you have your YouTube, you could have your YouTube videos on there. So when people go to your website, they can click on videos, they can see all your matches, stuff like that. And it's just easier if I just told you guys, hey guys, just go to my website, mongosantino.com, go to the video section. You can check out my videos compared to go to YouTube and find me and stuff like that.
And that phone in your pocket is a better camera than was filmed WrestleMania 3. It's a better camera.
That's
right?
true.
You know what I mean? It's that phone is amazing. That's like, I don't know if you ever seen Quantum Leap. That's like Ziggy. That's like little Ziggy that's got all the answers right there in your pocket, right?
No, it's
right
true.
there in your pocket. We were, as kids, you were lucky to have Encyclopedia Britannica. Like, you got the internet just right there. It's got everything. You know
You have
what
the
I mean?
world in your hand.
Yeah, so utilize it. I mean, Mongo said, yeah, I get it. Get a photographer, pay a photographer, but man, your phone probably takes amazing pictures. Even if you have an old phone. If your phone is 5 years old, it takes amazing pictures still. You know, so yeah, and then were you gonna talk to them about how to get a website, Mongo?
Yes.
Where some easy places to get a website. But yeah, you definitely have to have that website. I think Mongo, I think he said the point, but I really want to drive it home. The point of how many times do you see somebody get kicked off of their Twitter? I got hacked or this, that. How many times that happens, right? Maybe you violated the policies for Facebook and they kicked you off and you had 100,000 followers or whatever. Twitter, I don't know if there are any policies for Twitter. But yeah, there might be if you're bleeding. I don't know. I don't know if there are. But if they kick you off, then your identity is gone. Poof. Gone. Twitter just took it away because you don't even own it. Twitter owns it. You know, that's why it's so important. Use your social media to drive them to your website. That's how you're thinking about it, right? You have to use your social media to drive them to your website. Because when they take you have a great a YouTube channel, they take it away for whatever reason. How many times you see on Twitter someone said they just took my channel away for no reason whatsoever. I don't even know. I can't even get a response from support. And it's gone. What are you going to do? Right? Have that website because you're always driving people to your website. Always driving. You put your blog, right? Sammy Guevara blog up. You put your blog up, drive them to your website. If you want to see some more blogs, go to my website. You know, you can send them to your YouTube homepage, drive them to your website better. Sell some merch maybe. Check this out, right? Your Aunt Heidi, hey, check out the Aunt Heidi book. Check out the Aunt Heidi drawings. You know, the Aunt Heidi hat, the Aunt Heidi gloves. Buy them all on my website. You know what I mean? Really got to think of it that way. And then also, like I always say, utilize the pro wrestling tees. There's other websites like Printful, but I also want to let you know that when you utilize these websites, like I got Joe is wearing a shirt that I printed, and Rain is wearing a shirt that I printed, and so those shirts, right? They're soft. I think the shirts cost me about $3. The print itself, I think, cost me $30. I don't know, 1,000 shirts ago. You know, that logo. So you print it. So I can get a shirt for $4. When you go on Pro Wrestling Tees, I think they're giving you $8. They're giving you $8. I could make it for $4 and sell it for $20. I'll get 16. So I get double right off the bat. That's one color though. I know there's some people that could sell, like you could be the Young Bucks and just sell T-shirts, so you don't need to print them yourself. But if they did, they probably would make double the money. To be honest with you, they probably would. So I always think about that. Right? I'm always trying to think, why do you do all this stuff? Why don't you just go get someone to make your T-shirts? Because I don't have the money. I got to figure out how to make it myself. I had to figure out how to make a screen. I got to figure out how to print the screen. We use the wrong paint, man. We got to get Platisol paint to put on there, right? So if you guys want to print T-shirts, I ain't the master, but I know a little bit. I've been print for 10 years. But it's just, I just see the difference in how much more money you can make when you just print them yourself, and you're getting an expensive shirt. Right? If that soft shirt, sometimes you start seeing upwards to $25, right? You get, what is a great brand, Bella Canvas or American Apparel. You start learning your shirts, what people like. You start asking, what do I like? I like hard shirts, big, thick. I don't want them to be too tight on me. All right, so you want a AAA shirt, you know? Just you start learning this stuff, right? Why do you want? I want to be a wrestler. Well, maybe you're supposed to be the world champion like Coach Chaos is, but what's going to happen if you're not, right? Can you train people? Can you run shows? Can you make TV? And plus, what happens after wrestling? What are you going to do? Are you going to be lucky enough to beat Shawn Michaels to go agent NXT? You know, Vince McMahon would say, like, if you were a top wrestler who made a lot of money in this business, you don't have to come back to be an agent. I don't know what he would say about Shawn Michaels doing that. I think Shawn Michaels loves this shit, you know? But maybe you're not lucky enough to be Shawn Michaels and come back to be an agent to hang around wrestling and teach the next generation. What are you going to do? Maybe you're going to go into your apparel business. You know, maybe you're going to go into your business marketing business because you learn those. Maybe you're like Joe. Maybe you're going to go into your graphic design business. You know, so that's why I'm always saying just try to learn to do a lot of stuff yourself. It may give you a headache, but the sense of accomplishment and the accomplishment really it pays off a lot. So I know that was a little rant on that the website, right? Website selling the T-shirts, but yeah, drive them back to your website, right? To sell something to them, even if it's just to capture their email, so I can sell something to them later, so I can have an email list.
It's crazy, guys. You guys want a little secret about T-shirts? I'll give it to you right now. Chaos just kind of gave it to you. It costs us $5 to make a T-shirt, and we sell it for $20, right? That means I could give 3 T-shirts away for branding purposes and lose no money and restock up on 4 T-shirts, because I just had to sell one at $20 and it cost me at $5. And that's what we did in the very beginning. So when people thought we were losing a lot of money, we were just enough breaking even to buy some more T-shirts to keep on branding, because we knew that was really important. You know, if you see 4 people wearing a shirt, they say, oh, that's pretty cool. You see 8 people wearing a shirt, they say, oh, that's probably the next thing. They see 12 people wearing a shirt, the 13th person is like, oh, they must be the newest, hottest thing around. I want a t-shirt too. That's just the way the mind works for some reason. And that's just part of the branding. That's what we did. And that's why we were talking about earlier. I would give free t-shirts away for the students to wear them to just build our brand. You know, it's very tough. It takes 10,000 impressions for the Santino Brothers logo to be in your eyes, for you to be anywhere around the world and know that's the Santino Brothers logo. So that's the gimmick with the t-shirts. You know, it costs you $5 to print some yourself, silk screening, and then if you sell one, you make $15. So every $5 that you spend, you're gonna make $15. Sounds like a pretty good deal, right? It's kind of with that with the school. I would say, just giving you a number, for every $50 we probably spend on Facebook or Google, we probably get 1 new student, and that's just the way it works, you know.
And thinking about that, right? Hey, it's merchandising ideas. I know you got that on the list too, right?
Right.
All right, go ahead.
No, go for it. Go for it.
I was just thinking, like, I used to go into you can go into the 99-cent store. They might have a mug for 99 cents. You go get a sticker, right? You get your stickers, and then you can put it on your phone. Put it on that thing. Get a good sticker. Maybe it costs you 40 cents for each sticker, and throw it on there. What's it going to cost you? Maybe $2 to ship it. Maybe $3 to ship it. Sell it for $5. You know, you're making a pretty decent profit, but you still charge them for shipping. Sell it for $5 and charge them shipping. So you're going to make 3 to 4 times what you paid for, the dollar that you paid for it. I mean, it's a no-brainer, really. You're making 400% profit on that. Yeah, I get it. It's a little cheap, but it's not the greatest fucking merch item that you want to sell. I get it. You want to get better shit, but let's sell these. Let's sell this batch, so that way we can go and look online and get a bulk batch and get it professionally made, maybe printed on there, heat pressed, or silk screened on there. But there's so many different ideas and ways that you can get merch and put it out there and just kind of brand yourself. Are people going to buy it? Are people going to think, who the fuck are you? You're a new dude. Like, no one cares about you. Don't sell that shit. Hey, let them say that. Let them say it, right? Because what are you going to do? Just say, oh, well, because Chris Hero is already selling all the merch, I shouldn't even try? Like, you know what I mean? Maybe they won't buy it now. Maybe your friends and family will buy it. Have it ready. Be prepared. Don't be like Chaos, where you're like, I can sell merch. I have fans that want to buy merch, but I never did merch. I don't got no merch. What's merch? Be ready. Be like, yeah, I bought these things, and then, hey, I couldn't sell those mugs Joey gave me the idea for. Oh, what do I do? Do what Mongo says. Maybe get their email and give it away for free and try to brand yourself, get out there. Right?
Very true, guys. You're going to get a lot of naysayers, but you just got to be confident, and you can't look backwards. You got to look forward. And please, the people that do support you, you know, focus on those guys. Don't focus on the naysayers. Okay. Going back to this website, really important right here. Okay. And you could apply this to any business. You just don't want to send people to your website and not capture anything, like I was discussing earlier. The most important thing is in the email. The money's in the email list, and that's your business. Okay. So like I said, if they take your Instagram away, your Twitter, at least you have your foundation. They can never take away your email list as long as you save it and you don't lose it. That's where the money's at. So like I was discussing, you want to give something away for free. 5 tips, 5 photos, 5 songs, 5 videos, whatever you're into, you want to give that away for free in exchange for an email, right? For us, we sell a low ticket product. We'll sell a t-shirt. It's not a low ticket product to somebody, but for us, it's a low ticket product. So you buy our t-shirt, we establish trust with someone. Once you exchange currency with someone, you build trust with them, okay? And if you're happy with the product that you received from us, when I come back to you and say, hey guys, would you like to join Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy? It costs us $2,000. I have a 90% chance of selling you a high ticket product because I already sold you a t-shirt. I already sold you a low ticket product. And that's just building trust with your customers. And you want to deliver great value. So if they buy a t-shirt, throw in a sticker, maybe throw in an 8x10, something a little cheap so you know, they're just expecting a t-shirt from you, and when they get a little extra, they're more than likely to buy from you again. So you want to over deliver, really important. Same thing, when you get a website, where Chaos was talking about ROI, your return on investment. You want to start advertising where you're going to be. So if you're going to be, I live in Montebello. So if I was going to wrestle at the city of Montebello or something, I would probably advertise myself for people to show up and advertise I'm going to be in the city, and hopefully they buy some of my merchandise there and start promoting myself. If they buy a t-shirt, you know, off my website, and I spent $3 to get them there, and I sold a $20 t-shirt, I'll make a $17 profit. If I worked a deal with the promoter and they bought a ticket off my website and it costed me $3 on Facebook or Google, I would make a $20 ticket. I would make $17 in my pocket if I worked a deal with the promoter, you know, and you could do that. We did that with the Noki Dojo.
They were asking what could we use for a website. Where I find WordPress very easy. I mean, I found it very easy 6 years ago. I should probably go in there and update my website a lot more. But it's a lot of just plug and go. You have so many things to choose from. You could plug and go. They have also plugins where it just becomes. So what's a plugin? Well, what have you seen on someone's website that you want your website to do, right? And you can think about, I want a splash page. I want when they go to the website, I don't want to just go to the website. I want to see the splash page come up with this cool picture. All right. Well, you could probably put a plugin on your website through WordPress. Obviously, free versions. You can pay for versions, but I think you can definitely get it up there for free. But you have to look into, right, what's your website name? So you got to go to GoDaddy, HostGator, and just search the name. Is it available? You know, see if it's available. So you have to get a HostGator, get a host. If you're not familiar with it, we can help you out once you're going towards to getting a website, because there's a lot more to just, right, you got to get your host, you got to get your WordPress, and then now that you got it and you put all the great pictures on there, Mama's going to say this, Rain, that picture that you put up there, did you label that picture, or is it just a bunch of numbers? You know, because that's going to lead all back to your SEO. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about building that website, right? Because it takes a lot. It's not just building it, have them go there and buy merch, but you also have to do the SEO thing, right, Mongo?
Yeah, in the future, what I've been told was everything's going to be voice command. So someone's going to go to Echo and they're going to be like, professional wrestlers in Los Angeles area. And if you have a website up, it's going to read what's on your website, and then it's going to feed Echo that you're a professional wrestler in the Los Angeles area. So that's why I say it's your digital real estate on the internet, because everything is becoming voice command. They're going to go to Siri, well, professional wrestlers around the area. So we're talking about SEO earlier. Chaos was bringing it up. It's called search engine optimization. So search engine optimization is, it tells Google what your website's about, certain keywords. So for myself, when you type in Mongo Santino on Google, I want my website to pop up. I want my pictures to pop up. I want my videos to pop up. So anytime I have a picture, I rename the picture. Sometimes you'll see a picture and it'll say DC000 whatever .jpg. You want to rename the picture to MongoSantino not you guys, but MongoSantino.jpg. You know, another one would be pro wrestler MongoSantino.com. So they're not all the same. So when I upload these pictures to websites or social media and Google reads that picture, this is a picture of Mongo Santino, compared to just reading the numbers, not knowing what it is. So now your picture gets lost in internet space. Same thing with your videos. When you upload pictures to YouTube, I would put Mongo Santino versus, you know, Chaos Pro Wrestling match. And then I would upload it, and YouTube reads it as this is Chaos and Mongo. And when you do upload this stuff, you want to make sure you have the correct title tag. You know, this would be a bad description. SBWA 41920. You know, that's just saying, that's me saying this is Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy, happened on 4/20/20, right? What I want to put is Up All Night, Chaos versus Mongo, you know, and then a great description, Chaos versus Mongo, and a handicap match or a Texas chainsaw match in the description and stuff like that, and start adding the tags and the hashtags like we were discussing earlier. So you want to do that with your social media, and you want to do that with your website. You know, so when you upload a T-shirt, I'm not just going to put Santino Brothers T-shirt. I'm going to upload it Santino Brothers Blue Varsity T-shirt. You know, Santino Brothers Red Eyes T-shirt, stuff like that.
It's really simple. Like when we go to Google and we want to search something out, we go Triple H WWE. Pictures aren't going to come up that are 674432 BCS. You know, it's got to be labeled Triple H, or maybe WWE is in the tag. And that's why sometimes you're like, that's not Triple H. That's somebody that they probably tagged their picture Triple H. You know, so that's why it's so important, because we use the Google search all the time. A lot of us do, just to search stuff out. What's a picture I want to see some more information on? What's the football game? The score? This that. So that's how you're going to find all that stuff, and that's why it's so important, because it becomes easy just to upload a picture without naming it. And that even goes for the pictures that you take on your phones. You can go, before you upload it, go to Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. Before you upload it, you can go into the gallery and you can rename it.
That's correct.
And you should rename it, you know, because so then it'll find, right? And it's just all these little tools and tricks, and I get it. Some people don't have to do shit. They post a picture and it goes viral. Hey, that's them. Maybe, hey, let's utilize every tool that we can to give ourselves an edge. You know what I mean? Let's try to utilize everything we can, because I didn't know about that. All my pictures always said DS or DSC, and then a number, and just post all those. Or I would do what Mongo said, SBW August 2020. And it's just like, what's SBW? First of all, how many companies are SBW? You know, you should probably put it out there. Those are those key words that you're utilizing. You know, and I get it. Like sometimes, all right, you tell me if I'm wrong. Like if you put WWE Ric Flair and you're not WWE Ric Flair, just because you want to pop up on the search, sometimes Google will push you down the algorithm, won't they?
Yeah, they'll ban you because it's not what you're trying to do.
Because you're not putting the right. So those were little tricks that we used to do back in the day. We'd put WWE Ric Flair, and then everybody would come to see this, and they'd be like, "It's not WWE Ric Flair. Like, why am I here?" And then we thought, "Oh, it's hurting us. Stop doing that. Stop posting it." So that's, and just messing around with different keywords. And this is the part of wrestling where you're like, "Oh my God, this is terrible," right? But maybe you could be Joey Janela and have viral videos. Right, but until then, we have to try to utilize everything we can to try to make it work. Like Ruby, what do you do to try to get your videos out there? Do you utilize the SEO or the keywords or anything like that?
In particular for YouTube, I use something that I learned in art school, and that's doing the who, what, when, where, why. That way you get like the full description out. Honestly, for me, well, when it comes to website, yeah, you gotta the pictures, renaming the pictures. But for me, a lot of it comes down to thoughtful use of hashtags on my like Instagram, on Twitter, mostly Instagram, because I'll get anywhere between 30 to 50% of people looking at my Instagram account because of the hashtags that I use. So I just make sure to put some thought into the hashtags and use thoughtful hashtags. Someone was asking about it earlier too, like what to use. I say look at people who have more successful Instagrams than yours and see what they're using for their hashtags, and then use what will apply to you. But that's pretty much, I'm about the hashtags, because a lot of Twitter, Instagram, even on Facebook, you could do the search and you could search specifically for hashtags.
I mean, yeah, right. That's just this generation's keywords. The hashtags, you know what I mean? This the search engine optimization, really utilizing it, because people are searching those hashtags. They are searching keywords. How many times do we put something in? You know, somewhere to eat. You know, Mexican food, Chinese food, whatever. You put it in there, and then hopefully, you know, the burrito guy down the place has got Mexican food in his keyword, so he pops up. Because otherwise, it's you know, it's a hard sell. So right, all this stuff, because you start going in your head like, oh my God, I don't want to do all this, but start thinking about it, right? Start thinking about putting those those keywords in there, and it just starts becoming easy. And I think Matt makes a great point about the web. Going back to the website, don't overcomplicate your website, right? Keep it simple.
Right.
Keep it simple, right? Less is more. Just like we've been talking about in our promos, just like we've been talking about in our wrestling matches. So same thing, less is more. Put it in there. But yeah, so I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mongo.
No, it's okay. When you create your website, view it as a customer yourself to see if it's easy or not. If you find it difficult, then most likely your customer is going to find it difficult. So definitely test it out. Your website's like a car. Just because you purchase a website doesn't mean it's going to rank high, and it doesn't mean it's going to take off. You got to add plugins.
Could I add one? Sorry, could I add one thing about websites real quick?
Sure.
And I noticed not a lot of people do this, but always have a contact you page or a contact you section, like how to contact me. On my website, I have like one page specifically like for contacting, and I've gotten wrestling jobs. I've gotten, paid promotions and stuff like that off just that contact page alone, because people want to know how to get a hold of you easily, and they have your website and they got your Twitter, they got the Instagram and all that, and a lot of that gets filtered out. But if you have like a direct message area on your websites, it works. In my opinion, it works.
Yeah, definitely throwing it out there. And then also I wanted to add, right, like we're talking about the paid advertising. We're talking about the SEO, right, the keywords and the hashtags. Let's not forget, right, we see that commercial. I think it's an AT&T commercial, and the lady goes, oh, word of mouth advertising. That's what they used to do before commercials. Still works today, right? Word of mouth is so powerful. Santino Brothers got to go to 14 different countries, 96 different cities around the world through word of mouth, right? It was people at Lucha Boom, the Pooh Bell twins, that talked to the guy from Pucifer, the band, who put us on, the tour. So it's so important that word of mouth, telling people about talking up your brand, talking up who you are, right? So we're talking about like the SEO, we're talking about the website and the social media. Let's not forget the easy one, right? So just talking yourself up. Maybe you have a physical flyer, right? Mongo and I would always have a flyer. Hey, come see us wrestle. Come watch us wrestle. Here's the flyer. And then when we would spend a little bit of money on buying our own flyers, we would put ourselves on the main picture,
right,
and then still put the logos up there and everything. But yeah, so it's so important. Let's not forget that one too. So sorry, Marco.
No, it's okay. Promote yourself, guys. I can't drill it to you enough. You're a small business, and you got to promote your stuff. You got to promote your Instagram. You got to promote your Facebook. Let people know what's going on, what you're doing, what's your journey. There's a lot of people that want to follow you and your pro wrestling journey, and they want to see you succeed, so they could say, hey, I started with this person when they were nobody, and look at them today, and appreciate those people and give back to those people that support you. Really, really important. Always be a good person. Really important. But like I was talking about, your website's like a car. Just because you have a website doesn't mean it's going to run. They do have free plugins, but obviously when you have free plugins, it's free. You're not going to get all their features that you want, but there's one plugin that I want you to remember if you do get a website. It's called Yoast SEO. And what it does is it goes back to that search engine optimization.
What is it? Spell it. I'm going to put it in the
Yoast, it's a YOAST. And what that does is, yes. So what that does is, so when you're looking for a professional wrestler in Montebello, you would find me. And that's what you call local SEO. So if a promoter is looking for someone in Los Angeles, and you do have Los Angeles in your bio page, professional wrestler in the Los Angeles area, and like I said, your website would start popping up. Don't forget that plugin, one of the most important plugins. Another plugin would be for your pictures, to make your pictures enlarge when they go over them. But you got to figure out what you like for your website and test everything on your website. Like Ruby was talking about the contact page, go on there, enter your name, go through the whole process. See if it works. Just don't put it up there and just expect it to work. Sometimes there's glitches with certain stuff like that.
I'm sure other websites are the same as WordPress, but they have a whole tutorial What do you want to do? I want to work the products page, the category page, the post page. They have all these YouTube tutorials on there, so it's like it's not just leaving you hanging and say, hey, go do a website and go figure it out. They'll show you step by step. You just have to have patience. It gets frustrating sometimes because, right, the computer, when we click, it does what we tell it to do, not what we want it to do. And so we make the mistakes a lot of the times. I mean, we get frustrated and say, I don't want to do this shit no more, but just have patience and follow the steps and you can get it.
I'll be honest with you guys. Chaos was talking about earlier. He was just discussing, like, I just want to wrestle. I don't want to run a school. It's a lot of work. You know, you got to show up to work. You got to show up energy. When you guys are down, we got to have a good enough day to bring you guys back up. It's advertising and putting out a bunch of fires. But having that positive mindset, you know, going in there like, I'm going to do a kick-ass job today training. And that's the way you guys got to think now. You guys are just not average Joes. You guys are going to become professional athletes. So you got to have that mindset of becoming a professional athlete. So when you're getting frustrated with some of this marketing stuff or any stuff that you can't get, it's just repetition. You can learn anything. You just got to do it over and over and over again. And like I said, just stay positive. And if you get stuck, just find another way. Find another way and find a way until you get it done. So don't feel overwhelmed with this website stuff. If you ever get stuck, you know, you could always reach out to me and I'll guide you the best I can. But WordPress is it's compatible with a lot of plugins and different software, like email software. I use Aweber. Aweber captures email. So if I got to send out an email blast, I just write one email and then I just blast it out to the people on my email list. And like I said, this is your small business. Here, like, give you an example for Santino Brothers. Not every email's a sales email. I want to deliver some valuable content. So we will give you like 3 emails teaching you something. And then the 4th email might be like, do you want to sign up for our school? In your case, you would show a couple training videos teaching someone how to do curls or what you guys do. And then your 4th email will be like, if you guys want to support Mongo Santino, here's my t-shirt, here's the link and stuff like that. So I would use WordPress for your website. It's very compatible. If you have no money for an email autoresponder, you can use MailChimp. It's free. Like I said, I don't expect you guys to go out there and buy this stuff because you're just starting off your career and your business. But the free version is MailChimp, and that's compatible with WordPress. And then you can start collecting emails and trying to start generating revenue.
Can I interrupt? Sasha had a question. Said, is it weird for us right now to have all these social medias right now with no wrestling experience? And she says, is it marky? Can I say something?
Go ahead.
We're all the biggest marks. That's why we decided we want to go and take bumps in the wrestling lane, right? That's my thinking behind it. Number one, we're already the biggest marks besides the front row, really, because we want to do it. Should you put it up there? Is it kind of marky? I don't know, probably, but all I know is that the guys that really promoted themselves, like who's the guy at ECW was Money? What's his name? Easy Money. And Easy Money was a quote-unquote mark for himself, and everyone would say it. He'd annoy the boys in the back, of course, but he wasn't trying to sell his shit to the boys. He was trying to sell it to the fans. You know, so you got to look at it that way. And I would definitely prepare myself, maybe open up TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. And do you have a name? No, maybe just put a generalized name because you can always change it. You know, when you want to get started, but I would get familiar with it. Not when you have to put a video up. I wouldn't go, okay, now let me learn how to do YouTube. Just get familiar with it. Be prepared. But I don't. Is it marky or people can get mad at you? I mean, that's how we all do it. That's how a lot of people I've seen get jobs with wrestling companies because they decide I'm going to do a podcast and do something, and I'm not even part of the business. I just want to be part of the business. So. I think it'll prepare you. I mean, what are your thoughts, Ruby? And then we'll ask Mongo. And I know we're interrupting Mongo.
No,
what are your thoughts on that, Ruby?
So for WoW, The very first thing we did as soon as you knew what your character's name was is the very first thing we had to do was go on all the social medias and capture that name. Um, capture that name. It didn't matter if we didn't have any content to post, but we had to capture the name. And then we could just use regular WoW logos. Same thing when I went to USC and I was doing consumer psychology. As soon as we had the name, we went through and tested it on all social media platforms, make sure we could get the same name across every platform. So I'd say go ahead and just get it out there. Like if you have a name that you already know, go get it off all platforms right there. If you have a name that you kind of know, go get that off of all the platforms there. It doesn't matter because you could have it 5 different Instagrams with 5 different names that you want and 5 different Twitters with the 5 different names that you want, but at least they're yours now and at least you have it. That way someone doesn't come through afterwards and get it when you had opportunity to get it.
And Mongo, what do you think?
It's crazy because I have 2 sides on it. I don't like it. I feel like it's too early. But at the same time, I got to teach you guys this information, and I got to teach you social media, because you're going to learn a lot of different stuff. You're going to learn how to sit up proper. You're going to learn lighting. You're going to learn how to talk clearer. You're going to learn so much with the social media. So I would say go ahead and start and learn everything about social media, because if I tell you wait, you're going to wait a year and not educate yourself on social media, where here you can start learning, hey, Mongo, I point the camera this way because I get more lighting. I got a better microphone. I started promoting myself. I started getting a following. So I don't want to hold you back. Test it out and see what works.
You know what else I think? I think people, like Joe said, hey, for the longest, my Instagram page was devoted to parkour and martial arts, tricking, but I gradually started posting wrestling stuff. And so what I think is that people want to see you and your journey. That's why they're following you. Are they following you specifically for your wrestling? Well, that could be the case, but we want them to follow you, for who you are, you know, what you do. So if you're starting with parkour and tricking and now you're doing wrestling, people are going to want to see that journey. They're going to want to see Joe's journey from, like, look at, yeah, he used to be Joe Cyberpunk. Now he's got a new name, you know, he's Hari Curry, you know, and so, but I think that's what a lot of us want to see. That's why we watch a lot of the reality shows, right? It's not even watching the finished product, we're watching the making of, and I think people love seeing that. They want to see your progression. They want to see you type on there and say, hey, I'm thinking about joining wrestling school. I want to be a wrestler like my favorite wrestler. I don't know, Sasha Banks, you know what I mean? And then people are going to say, oh, do it, this, that, yeah. People want to see the progression, see where you're going. They love to say, wow, I remember you telling me 3 years ago you wanted to be a wrestler. Now look at her wrestling on television. People love saying that shit because they sit there and they go, man, I wish I had the balls to do that. You're going to start realizing when you start to chase your dream as wrestling, you're going to start inspiring a lot of people. But yeah, I'm sorry. That's why I just wanted to add to that social media, adding it. I think people like to see the journey.
Lead by example, guys. You guys are going into a fun industry, and you guys are taking the first steps towards it, and people want to be like you, right? How cool is it being in professional wrestling? I mean, who doesn't want to do that? It's a cool job. It's just, you have the balls enough to take the first step forward and start going towards your dream, where a lot of people are afraid to do that. So that's what I always tell you guys, be very proud of yourself. You got to have that positive mindset, you know, that killer instinct to execute. There's nothing, the only person that's holding you back is you. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Now you finished the branding and marketing, right? So it's like I'm gonna have a whole crash course. Let me put my mic on, Mongo. So if you want to put yours on, I don't know which one's better.
Mongo should be here in Mongo. Should be better. But I feel like I got to lean over. So right, there's a lot of branding and marketing involved. These are just like a crash course and tips that we can give you and provide for you that helped us along the way to really help our branding, our business, right? Because that's what we are. We are a business. We're trying to sell right, what do we want to do? We want to wrestle. We want to win the titles. We want to be on a national company, so we got to sell ourselves to them. It's not about how I don't know, New Japan or Ring of Honor or WWE or AEW. It's not about how they can pay you to live your dream. It's about how you can help them gain ratings and help them make money. You got to think of it that way, right? So now I'm a brand and I'm a business, and I think you must think that way. And no one ever wants to give you a job so you can live your dream. They're going to ask you, what can you do for us? Can you move the rating needle? Can you sell T-shirts for us? Because we all want we're going to get a percentage of that. So that's the bottom line um, when it comes to it. So you got to think about what I, as a business, I as a brand, bring to the table that can help your company and take it to a next level, or make it bigger, or make money, right? So you can think about that. You are a business. It's not about you getting a job so you can wrestle at WrestleMania in the main event and you lived your childhood dream, right? This is corporate wrestling. A lot of the national wrestling companies we want to break into is corporate wrestling. So we got to think about it in those terms: branding, marketing, right? Not saying stupid shit on social media that can come and bite us in the ass because they're like, hey, Snickers don't want to see that shit. And if Snickers is going to stop giving me money, you're fired. You're like, get the hell out of here, right? So. But yeah, I have Mongo's got his notes that he made for everybody, so I'll post that in the in the Facebook group. But I want to open it up right now to anybody that may have some questions. Any questions on the marketing or anything that we covered? Websites, social media, branding, putting it together. Is anybody having? I got Matt has a question. Max, Joe, Phil, and Hannah is the order I see. All right, Matt, first, please.
Two things. One, is it looked down upon to make flyers for other people's events? Like, should I ask them if I could make the flyers and post them up?
Well, there was a guy. There's a guy named Heban, and he's a photographer, and he started making flyers for Slice Boogie versus, I think, Davey Boy Smith, and he made one for Tito versus Ray Rosas, and he was just making his own flyers. And what I thought, wow, that was a great idea to show a promoter, a booker, what you can do and what you can produce. And if they see that, hey, I really like your style of flyers. What do you charge? And so it might help you get a job. I mean, that's what that was my thinking behind it. Ruby, what do you think behind that?
Are you talking about like as a graphic designer, or just as a fan, or as a wrestler? Like, in my opinion, it's different because it's different depending on what you want to do. So if me as a professional wrestler made a flyer for other professional wrestlers, I think that would be kind of awkward and kind of weird. Unless, like Joey's saying, you're trying to get into the graphics and just want to make yourself dispensable in that way. But I feel like as a wrestler, that's not something I would do personally, because I don't want to get into graphics. I just want to wrestle.
Yeah.
Or promote shows.
Well, that was the other part of the question, because I have a bit of a publishing background, and I've done a lot of zines and stuff like that, and I've always wanted to do like an after type zine for like local wrestling and all that stuff. I would definitely rather wrestle, but if in doing something like that just for the networking, is that something that is something I should do, or is that something that I would just be looked at as that dude that makes the zines?
I feel like, in my opinion, if it's early in your career, it's kind of weird. But I know what you're talking about, because I've actually have some stuff that I had in the works before. One of them was a zine. There's a lot of fans that make zines, especially professional wrestling. But in my opinion, again, I just said, in my opinion, I would wait until I'm an established wrestler first, because I wouldn't want to taint that with being like, oh, like you said, that's the zine guy, or that's the graphics guy. Oh, and he also wrestles.
Mm-hmm.
I would want to be established first, and then make that, like, you can make zines and stuff like that once you're established, and make that part of like you're not just a wrestler, you're also like on the production side or on the promoting side, that you're more than just one facet. In my opinion, I would establish myself as a wrestler first because that's what I want them to see me as first, because I want to be a performer first.
And I think that, like, maybe you're a young wrestler, and you're on the bottom of the card, you're not on any flyer. I think it would be a good idea to make your own flyer. I don't think a promoter would be mad. I can see some exception coming from a promoter, but if you're a new person, the exception from a promoter might say this is not the brand that we're promoting right now. But if you're promoting to your friends and you're going to sell tickets, and your family and you're going to sell tickets, I don't see a promoter having any problem with that. I've seen people do it because, hey, I'm not on the flyer. Maybe I gotta take the extra step and just help out. I think that everybody wants to see that help in there. But yeah, if you're trying to do the graphic designer thing, I would do that. Make sure to go off mute, Mongo, when you speak.
You want to say, okay, to be honest with you, if you made a flyer for yourself and I was having a wrestling event and you made a flyer for yourself promoting my wrestling event and you're on it, I would be pretty proud as a promoter, because it shows me that you're taking an initiative to promote yourself even more. If I bought flyers or I didn't buy flyers digitally or physically, and you went out there and I seen you promoting my show, and I don't even care if you're 75% on the flyer, 25% of Santino Brothers logo on there with the date, address, and time and everything, I would be pretty proud, because you're taking the initiative to promote yourself and the show together. So that's the way I would see it, just a little different.
So, okay, I have Max has a question. Mr. Max, what's your question, my friend?
So I kind of have a comment about something in the chat earlier, and then a question for after.
Yes, sir.
So I know that some people were talking about. I think it was specifically Kristen was talking about Twitch. There's a lot of streamers right now, or wrestlers in general, that are in the wrestling business that are doing streaming. I know. I mean, the biggest one that the two that come to mind are Paige and Zelina Vega, or formerly Zelina Vega. If you want to try it, I would say go for it. I stream on Twitch myself as a whole. That's a whole other thing. It's not a wrestling thing or a me thing. But it's fun. It's really taught me, like, this is where you look. You don't look at the screen. You look at your webcam. So if you're cutting promos, it's good promo practice. It's good mic practice, because you're setting your own intervals and stuff. So I would encourage everybody, if you have a good enough computer, try Twitch out. Twitch is fun. It's a good way to learn how to promote yourself. For example, every night before I go stream, I have to put my promotions in other Discord servers or with my friends, so people can come watch my stream. So when we were talking about promoting earlier and reaching out to people and word of mouth is huge on Twitch. So it's just a good way to, I think, get you started. And for those who don't know what Twitch is a gaming website for streamers to basically broadcast their content. And my question is, as a person who can't wrestle and is basically looking to be a commentator manager, what is a good thing to put on your website or socials? Is that just promo work? Is it prints? Or yeah, I guess I'm just asking, what is good for that?
Yeah, I think promo work would be huge. Putting it on there, putting pictures, vignettes would be great, right? What's a vignette, right? A little backstage segment. I think all that would be great. There's a great amount of content that you could put in there, and especially content that you could put in there that can engage your audience. Because a wrestling match is one thing, and right, it's fun to do the wrestling match, but when you have the time to do a promo, that's when people really engage to that wrestler or that manager, or that wrestling persona. So yeah, that's totally what I would do. And if you say you're already doing gaming or Twitch, I would even promote that, because people want to watch Ronda Rousey play video games, or there's a whole list of people that are playing video games, AJ Styles and was it Apollo Creed? Was it not Apollo Creed? What's his name from TNA? He was TNA, but he's the New Day now. What's his name?
Xavier
There you
Woods, or
go, Xavier Woods.
Apollo. I think it's Oh God, no, it's Austin Creed.
Austin Creed, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. I was thinking Apollo Crews, I think. Yeah. So, but yeah, so many people game, right? And they're not even playing wrestling games. They're playing all types of games. Brody's on there and he's cooking on Twitch, and he's gaming on Twitch, and just people want to see, or he does a podcast with Aleister Black on Twitch, and just people just want to be part of their fans of Brody. So I would definitely, even if it's the gaming, Max, I would definitely put that on there. Necessarily on your website. I don't know. I think maybe things are changing. People want to see you and know who you are. Maybe you don't have to put your gaming on the website, but say, here's a link to my Twitch. All right, maybe I'm a Twitcher and I want to see this guy. And then you could really mess with it. You could put a character on in your Twitch. You don't have to be you. You could put your character and see what works. Throw it to the wall, right? Everyone's commenting down left and right. So, but yeah, I would definitely put the vignettes in the promos. I think that would be great for you. For sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Joe, did you
Real
have a
quick.
question? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ruby.
Sorry. Max, have you ever thought about doing commentary for stuff and maybe filming that? And it doesn't have to be wrestling. It could be as easy as like the one I love listening to Kalani Robb. Kalani Robb's like this epic legendary surfer. And what Kalani Robb will do is he'll go out to beaches and film random people surfing, and he adds commentary, and he'll set it up like it's a fake, World Surf League competition heat, and he'll throw in his commentary. And I sit there and I watch Kalani Robb do this for hours. He does it for hours, and he'll post them on his Instagram and stuff like that. He also does he'll watch skateboarders and he'll do commentary on the skateboarding and pretend like it's a competition. There's stuff like that where I absolutely love. I love watching that, especially from people that I'm fans of. So have you ever thought about anything like that maybe?
I mean that's kind of like what I do on Twitch right now. At least when I started, I was an exclusively sports streamer, because I was a year ago I was pursuing broadcasting in a major sports type of way, and then just because of the pandemic, I was like, oh, let's try wrestling school. So I'm going more of the wrestling route, and on Twitch I do a DJ gimmick or an MC gimmick. So it doesn't really fit the gimmick, but whenever sports games are coming out again in March, April time, that's when I'm gonna start doing the commentary stuff. And I've already thought about it because my sister and my dad are always like, why don't you ever record yourself when you do that? Because it's great. It'd be great for your socials, and because you're already doing it anyway, you might as well record it. So that's something I'm gonna keep for myself. So thank you, Ruby. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Ruby. What's
What's
that?
that?
One thing I would say is just start. Don't worry about any other wrestlers or people are doing this or it's oversaturated. You're going to reach a totally different audience than they're reaching. You have totally different friends from Sasha Banks and people around you. And just most important, just take action and just start. Sorry about that, Kale.
No, absolutely. Thank you, Mongo. Joe, you had a question, my friend.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
So for my gimmick, it started out as the Cyberpunk Ninja, but the game came out, and I wanted to kind of do it before the game came out, and now I think people are just gonna associate that, they hear the word Cyberpunk, they're gonna think that, and now I'm gonna want to tweak it a little bit, and I think Bob brought up try to avoid doing popular media stuff because everybody else is gonna want to do that. So I was just wondering, should I tweak it or do I want to stick with my guns on this, Coach?
Well, I think the quick answer right off the bat is change it, right? And I would say change it. But then I go, that there was a popular movie called The Road Warrior, and then there was a popular ass tag team called the Road Warriors, and I thought it was just coincidence that, I don't know, at that same time there was these two things called the Road Warrior, but it was Road Warriors just blatantly copied the movie, just straight out at the time. So I think that helped them in a sense when you think of it that way. They brought the Road Warrior, the movie, to wrestling. Are you going to be able to bring Cyberpunk was it 2077 to wrestling? You know, because in the grand scheme of it, I don't think anyone ever really thinks about the Road Warrior, the movie, when we talk about the Road Warriors anymore. We
Right.
just think of the Road Warriors. They made a name for themselves. So I think right off the bat, I say no, change it. But then I always remember and thinking there was always a huge coincidence that there was the movie The Road Warrior and The Road Warriors came out a few years later. Blatant copied though, you know? So what do you think, Mongo?
I would use the name. And like I say, you just got to be mentally strong, and I don't care what people think. Do my best with it, and just look forward and execute what you got to do. There's going to be a lot of people that hate. You're going to be but it's okay. You know, let them hate. As long as you focus on what you got to do, you'll be fine. So, you know, it's really up to you at this point.
Thank you, coaches.
I put that up. I'm sorry. All right, Ruby, do you have something to add to that?
I was gonna say, Jojo, if you're gonna do it though, do it legit. Like if you're gonna go cyberpunk, you need to go in cyberpunk. There's a couple indie wrestlers out there who have cyberpunk gimmicks. They don't have the name cyberpunk in it, but they have cyberpunk gimmicks. So in my opinion, if you're gonna do something from such an identifiable subculture, that you really got to get into it and make sure that you look like it. Like I'm talking, let's throw some LED lights in your entrance gear and stuff like that. Like if you're gonna do it, go all out and really, really do it. And I know you know what I'm talking about. Like get the LED lights. If you're gonna throw a little face paint, get the face paint, get the hair going really good, and you know the music too. So do the music with it as well.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruby. All right, Hannah, you had a question.
Is it okay? Because I try to keep all of my socials that are public really, I guess, PG, so I don't post anything bad for school and for, I guess, work. Is it okay if I also make that my wrestling account? Because I have an Instagram and a YouTube where I post wrestling content. Is that okay, or should I just like start fresh again?
No, I think it's okay. Like Lucas Riley and Vinny Wasco both had a good following on YouTube. And when they started wrestling school, like they stopped doing their YouTube channel. Like Lucas Riley used to open up WWE action figures and like I guess open them up and show what came in the box and you know what he thought about this figure compared to another figure. And I said I think people love that to see that on the journey, to see who you are, right? Like I get it. Like us old school wrestlers from the late '90s are all about like living that gimmick. But today is different and changed, right? I still say like you know be that character in that gimmick, and if your character is going to be that PG character, then you could just put that out there. I think that would be fine. I think it's also fine when they get to know who you are, and then when maybe your character in wrestling becomes a heel persona, you can also play with that and change it a little bit. Your fans, I think, would still like you. I don't think they would go against you, right? Because I don't think if Hannah hit somebody with a chair and became a heel, your fans would be like that was justified. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's what I think. I'm sorry. What was that?
Oh, no, because I think a few, I guess, no, I think it was yesterday, I was talking to Matt, and I was like, oh, you know, that I kind of want to start off as an asshole or maybe even start off as a really nice guy, you know, that, and I guess with everything going on, I guess that has happened in my life, I became this asshole. So I start off face and then I go heel because I'm just sick of everyone. And I feel like that's why like I wasn't sure if I should keep my Instagram account, if that makes sense. I hope it did.
Yeah, I mean, I think you should. As far
Okay,
as like
cool.
picking what character I should be, heel or face, I wouldn't overcomplicate it or overthink it too much. I
Hmm.
would say right now, just be you, be the person that's trying to strive to right. What's your story on your social media that you're trying to get across? Is it that you're going to wrestling school? Is that you're trying to become a wrestler? Is it that you're trying to get signed to a contract? I would just worry about that right now, as opposed to worrying about trying to get a persona over just yet. What would you have to add to that, Ruby?
Honestly, in my opinion, it's going to be a little bit different. If you have a bunch of followers, I'd say keep it. If you really don't, I think that's a good time to start fresh. You could start new.
Thank you, Ruby. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. Philip, you had a question, my friend. I have Philip, Willie, and Kristen. Did I miss somebody on there that had a question? Okay, I think I got everybody. All right, Philip, my friend, what's your question?
I just want to start by saying it's been really great having Coach Mongol in here. It's been really encouraging of everything we've been doing. So I wanted to show my appreciation for that. My question is about, Mongol said about names, and to ask you, have 5. I've kind of gone through that for a long time, wanted to get into wrestling. So want to just directly ask Chaos, what do you think of my wrestling name, Living Zed? Does that roll off the tongue all right? Is it okay? Is it?
It makes me think of Zed from Pulp Fiction. Is that good or bad? I don't know.
I
Living
thought you might
Zed.
bring that up because you've brought up that movie. I thought you might think that, and I know that's like a
Right, but that's an
90s
old
movie.
ass movie, man. That's like 26 years old. I think it
Yeah.
came out in
We were actually
1994.
talking in the group chat, me and Rain and Kristen, and my like face zombie idea is like the friendly zombie from Hocus Pocus, Billy. He's got his mouth sewn shut, and he's just a nice guy, but because he's being nice to the kids, that's how he gets over as a nice guy, I think so.
I would say Living Zed would be a harder sell, obviously, than a name. Thinking of maybe a first and last name that may roll off the tongue, but you're also talking to a guy who started off as Chaos or Kid Chaos, just one name.
I've always like Undertaker, like Kane, Rosemary,
right?
like single name, like character names, rather than just everyday John Cena. I know he's one of the best ever, but it's just like anybody could have been named John Cena.
I think it's going to be a harder sell, obviously, but I'm going to say also, if you feel it inside and you see it inside, stick to your guns, keep throwing it to the wall, see if it works. My suggestion, I would say get a first and last name. That would be my suggestion. Are you wrong for Living Zed? Is it not a good name? Right. First of all, it's subjective. But second of all, I would, throw it against the wall and see if it works. Like right off the bat, right when I told you that story about the Young Buck said they hated that Young Buck name. They thought it was a stupid fucking name, right? They love that name now. It's the name of their book, right? They make a lot of money off that name. So just even though someone, right, it's a little bit different story, but even though I might say, I don't think Living Zed's going to work. Maybe you're using that as fuel to prove me wrong. But don't worry about me. Just prove that name can work. You know what I mean? What is your take on it, Mongo? On that, Living Zed is his name. LVG.
Zed.
Living Zed. Yeah. If you could make it work, then it will work. But it's just, are you willing to put in the work? Really, to be honest with you.
No.
You just got to live up to the name and make it work. If you go out there and you perform well, people are going to dig it. If you go out there and don't perform too well, then it's not going to work, right? So it's just about putting in the work and making it work.
I won't let you coaches. I won't let you guys down.
To be honest with you, not all the times I'm right. Not all the times Chaos Stars is right. Sometimes people prove us wrong. So that's what you got to do. You got to go out there and test out the market.
Right off the bat, Phil? Am I honest? Hell no. Hell no. I would say hell no.
Wait.
You're muted, man.
Yeah, that got muted. Luckily, I guess, because
all right. But my first thought about booking Living Zed, I'd say hell no. Maybe it'll work for Halloween. On a consistent basis, is that the name I'm going to see on the main event of the marquee? I don't think so. But Vince McMahon may think different. Tony Khan may think different. Cody Rhodes may think different. That's just me right off the bat, just being completely honest. What are your thoughts, Ruby?
I actually don't think of Zed from Pulp Fiction. I think of the very popular band Zed right now. And I don't know
I'm
if you
gonna have to
remember
say I'm totally out of the loop. I
Chaos.
don't
If
even
you
know that.
remember back in the day, there was a guy who used to wrestle as like he had like a zombie name, like a really hard zombie name. He used to wrestle at Anaheim Marketplace and all these places. I don't know, but I felt like his name was one of the things that wasn't working for the guy. I can't remember his name right now, but he also had a zombie name too. And I think when it comes to being marketable, the name goes heavy into it, and I'm not seeing it myself either. That's just me.
Not feeling it, huh, Ruby? Not feeling it. That's and then right off the bat, that's me. So now, Mongo, are you feeling that name? Being honest.
Right? No, it's. I don't have an answer for you.
So you're.
You got to tell.
I can take the critiquing. I like. That's what I asked for.
Maybe I see you for Halloween for a theme show, but not like WrestleMania kind of match.
Yeah. So
I feel
he's saying that's a no. 3 no's right there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, Ruby. Go ahead.
But you guys
I
have said
feel
the
like
same
that's
thing
more.
though for Undertaker and Rosemary as a name. If you didn't know the character,
Brother,
behind
that's what we're saying. We're saying, hey, run with it.
I feel like
But
it
I'm
sounds
telling
more
you
like
right
a
off the bat what
moniker.
I think. Just being honest, right? You know what I mean? I'm not here to argue with you. I'm just saying that's what I think.
No,
But I'm
yeah,
saying
I'm
run
not,
with it. Become the next Undertaker. Um, make it work. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ruby. I know you were trying to add something in there.
Oh no, it feels more like the moniker than the name. Like so and so the Living Zed or the Living Zed so and so. Like it doesn't feel like it feels like it's a cliffhanger. It doesn't feel like a complete name. It's more of a moniker.
Can
I can
I
dig
start
that.
with that now and find that missing part later, do you think? Because I already have this, like you guys said, lock down all the socials. I have it. That's what I wanted. Can I have that as my social brand, but still find something to add to it? Because your social is Razor Pops. It's not Ruby Rays, so kind of the same thing.
I think so. I think you can definitely do that, right? You want to
Alright, keep that in mind.
what you want to have you want to have your name out there. I think it could work. I like Ruby's idea of Living Zed something, or name Living Zed. I think that may work. But hey, you have to prove us wrong, but it's not even like you have to prove us wrong, and it's not about us, right? I hate when people go up and they accept their fucking award and they go, this is for all the people that said I couldn't fucking do it. You know what? Fuck that shit. You better thank the people that fucking had your back all the fucking way. So you gotta remember, it's not about me, not about Ruby, not about Mongo if we like your name or not. Make it fucking work, bro. Make it
My
work
mindset is I want to
if you
make you
believe
guys
in it.
proud. I want to prove you guys wrong. I want to make you guys proud. So that's my
Right,
mindset.
right. It's not about proving us wrong. It's just make that fucking thing work. But maybe you get another no. Maybe you get another no. Maybe you get another no. Then you gotta say maybe I gotta like tweak it a little bit and because I believe in it. You don't just give up on your fucking dream because people said no. Right? We told you you're gonna get 100 fucking no's before you get that one fucking yeah. You know, you can make it work. You just gotta stick with it. Don't let us get in your head and say that's the stupidest fucking name. But then also don't go down a path that's just not gonna work. Right? Don't go down that path and just try to keep pushing it in that square peg in the circle hole. It might not just hey, maybe we gotta let it die down for a little bit, come back to it later. And now I fully understand it and have it work. Somebody asked, does that kind of help you right there? I just wanted to be completely honest with you on that, Phil.
Yeah,
But like
very
I said,
much. I
it's
appreciate it.
subjective.
Thank you.
Make it work. Malcolm Schreiner asked, does it work? I like that name personally. I think it does. Malcolm Schreiner. Is it Shiner? Michael Shiner? Say it, my man.
So it's Malcolm Shiner. It's like you're saying shine, you're just adding an R. It's my mother's maiden name.
I like it. I dig
So.
it. I think that works. Hannah, pronounce your name.
Josette DeLarvery.
I think it's very unique. DeLarvery, are people going to have a problem with saying that last name? That's my question. Is it going to be too hard for people to pronounce or even read? That was just right. I'm just trying to give you my honest opinion right off the bat. So right, and you're throwing it against the wall, asking other people what do they think? What do you think of this name? that's a great name. What do you think of this name? Now there's some like 14 people say that's a great name. Maybe you're onto something. You got a great name. Coaches might have been off on that one. So that's just that's my take on it.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Coach, would it
Yes.
be better to get a name with like a first and last name or like just a solo name?
Right, talking to a guy
Me
named
personally, I
Chaos,
go with
one
the
syllable.
solo.
But I'm gonna say a first and last name may work best, but make it work, right? Make it work. That's what I would say. But it's up to the new generation to change it, right? Most people are using names, right? You have AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, right? Um, but I believe wrestling does recycle and wrestling does change back, right, every 7 years. And maybe you're going to come back again with just the one name wrestlers. I think and that's where Supreme or Chaos came from. We came from Hawk, Animal, like those types of like things of how we grew up watching wrestling. So that's what we thought. I think, right, maybe coming up with a name may be better. Mongo, we get that to that?
You know what? That's where it's a little tricky, and that's where some thinking comes involved. Because then it's going to come to a point where we're going to be saying two names, first, last, first, last. But then you're going to have everyone the same, and that's when you got to be a little different and maybe come out with one. So it's just finding that balance of if everyone's going with two names, maybe go with one. If everyone's going with the one word name, then go with two. So you just got to, you got to find that sweet spot for yourself, be unique, be different, and think outside the box. But that's how I feel about that, with the two name, one name, situation. If everyone's going two names, go with one name. If everyone's doing one name, go with two names. Would you agree or not?
Yeah. Go ahead and put it on. I think maybe just try different things out, right? It's like we're not the end to be all, right? A coach, right? As a coach, I'm trying to there to guide you and help you, not to say that's the stupidest fucking name, don't use it. Or you're still on.
Sorry. There we go. Let's try it again. If you're right, if used, I would say utilize that name. But we're here as coaches to help you and guide you and what we think and given our honest opinion as opposed to thinking that name is completely terrible, but saying, yeah, I think it'll work. I think it's always best to just give the most honest opinion. Bishop Church, yes, if that's a good name. I think it sounds good. I think it sounds off the bat, just coming in Bishop Church. I think it sounds good. Maybe does it sound too gimmicky? Does it sound right? But you're once again, man, a guy named fucking Chaos is telling you does it sound too gimmicky? You know what I mean? But that's my thought right off the bat. Thinking about that. What do you think about his name, Bishop Church, Ruby?
Because I'm debating between either Bishop Church or CT Bishop, but like I'm married to the name Bishop, like that's what I want, but I'm just not sure, like which one sounds better.
What was it?
So I can only see 4 people on my screen right now. I can't see you. But off the bat, when I hear that, I'm thinking that you're a Western character with a cowboy gimmick sort of deal. Is that what you're...
No. A Western?
That's what your name
nah.
is. So that's what I'm telling you. Like, when I hear that, that's automatically what the first thing comes to my mind is. Another thing that I feel people need to think about is how their name sounds and how it's perceived. That way, if someone's talking about you, you want them to kind of get an idea of who you are by your name, in my opinion. So you have someone like Jesse James, who he has a cowboy gimmick. Hoss Hug, he has a cowboy gimmick. I feel like if I'm saying those names, I could throw Bishop Church in there too, and he probably rides with them as well. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sold. I'm sold. I'm sold. I can see Bishop Church in that crew with Jesse James. But yeah, right, we're not the end to be all. We're just here to guide you. We're not here to say, hey, that's the stupidest name, and you're here to kill your, kill your energy going into it, right? So we're just trying to figure out what we think about it right off the bat, giving you an honest opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see. I said Willie had a question. Willie, let's go to the question. I know there's a couple other names people put in the chat. I'll come back to those. Willie, what was your question, my friend?
So you guys pretty much touched on it. First off, thank you guys for everything. Just want to say that. But it goes back to the social media and basically the kayfabe of it all. Like, so if I'm talking about my personal journey, you know, like fitness and all that, my character, or even just for like the marketing and the branding and the website, if I'm trying to go professional about it, but my character is kind of like, you know, I've been planning, he's kind of a dumbass. So, you know, what's a good way to steer away from, you know, people actually treating you like a dumbass and being like, well, he's a dumbass, we don't, you know, like, and then actually coming across as, okay, this is Willie, and then not telling people, oh, okay, that's kayfabe, or what's a good way to address that? I guess I should say, with the two accounts, like the professional account and the character account, is that the best way, or just kind of filling it as you go with your audience?
I think people want to know who you are, right? I know we can try to put a character and persona on. Is that really you, or at least do you believe that to be really you? So I think that like that's what people really want to see. You know, they want to start, right? We're talking about in all these promos, right? Coach is always talking about your eyes and your facial expressions and really driving the emotion home and letting us know what the emotion is with your eyes and your facial expressions. So I think it's just so important that just to understand that people want to see you. And if you are maybe a little quirky or maybe just a little bit out there, where, hey, I don't care about grammar. This is how I write. You know, I say me and Mongo. I don't say Mongo and I. I didn't come from a British king. I say me and Mongo. That's what, I don't know. Maybe that's gonna put over your. He's a little bit like a little bit of a knucklehead. You know, maybe that'll put it over. I don't know, but I think they really want to see who and know who you are, as opposed to figuring out how to put this persona on, right? Because I think that maybe you find yourself getting caught up in doing not Andy Griffith, Andy Kaufman, doing Andy Kaufman or Joaquin Phoenix, and you got to understand that those guys at that level are incredible actors. You know, so I think just maybe learn the way right now. You're still going to have like about a year of training to go, and in that year of training, what will happen? You will find yourself. You will find your character. You might go into it on day one. This is what I want to do. By the end of training, you're gonna find yourself, because you're gonna look into the crowd. You're gonna see someone fall to their ass, and you're gonna say something, and everybody in the dojo is gonna pop, and you're like, whoa, light bulb goes off. Maybe I should keep doing that. They love it. And so that's what's going to happen, because in training, you will find yourself and you will find more of your persona. I think that, I don't know if anyone's really come in, said, this is my character, and as at the end of the day said, at the end of training or at the end of 4 years of wrestling, how still doing that character. It always evolves and it always changes. So I think that's maybe what you want to focus on, Willie, as opposed to trying to like overthink it, right? Keeping it simple again. Less is more. You know, throwing those quirks out there to let you know who you are. People want to know who you are, but I don't know if you want to really to think about focusing on it too much right now. Let's get through 6 months of training. Then, right, 6 months. Now we're at 8 months of training. Now we got to still really start thinking about it. 10 months. We're finished our training. It's been a year. You know, we're gonna go and do our first match. You know, so at that point, that's when you want to start thinking about, should you have it down by your first match? No, no, you're not gonna have it down. Right? What did Coach Bob say? This is gonna be a process of finding what works. Right? You might have a great idea. Can you pull it off? No, maybe somebody else can pull that character off better than you. Right? So it's going to be a process of finding yourself. And that's what I think about what you should focus and think about.
Thank you, Coach.
Absolutely. You're welcome. Kristen had a question.
Oh, yes. I have I have my own personal YouTube account that's not tied with my character per se. I also have a Facebook account, which also has some of my promos not tied to the YouTube. Now, as much as I want to like start over, there actually are some old promos on there that I actually am pretty proud of, and I could probably use to promote myself, considering I experimented a bit with presentation and some nice editing goodness. Would it be best to basically pull some of those from the Facebook, put them onto a separate, actually cobble together everything into a single YouTube account, fresh, completely branded as my character? And if so, what would be the best way to label them, because these are old promos and not for an event that's coming up?
You could definitely just label them like what are you talking about in the promo? You know, if it's a story that maybe would help the Aunt Heidi character, I think that would work. I think Aunt Heidi would be a fabulous character for a YouTube channel. I'm still even on the fence about how people still want to see you. They want to see you turn it on, and even though we know that this is Kristen. It's not Ann Heidi, because you could really play it off, right? No, Ann Heidi comes on the show at 7 p.m. This is just Kristen talking, right? I don't, Ann Heidi, and you can even play that character. Yeah, Ann Heidi might get mad about that, right? Because who's going to get mad? You, because in your head, you're like, I don't really think that. So you're now kind of like really letting it out, and it's almost like real. And I think that would be great. You can still know who Kristen is, and you can also know Aunt Heidi's coming on at 7 p.m. Hey, check this promo that Aunt Heidi did, right? And I think that it could help. I really under that belief, at least at this point in my career, of selling the realism. And I think that really who you are. People want to hear the struggle. I think when you told us, you're like, hey, I'm working every day, and then this is what I think about. I think about this character, and I try to put it. People love that. I love it. I love hearing those stories, right? We turn ESPN 30 for 30, and they're talking about golf. And all of a sudden, I'm watching this golf guy, and it's like, oh, this is great. This is interesting. But let's see the story. I don't care about golf. I don't care one bit about golf. But you start watching these 30 for 30 ESPN taking us on the journey of these people of this story that they're telling, and you're just like, wow, this is fascinating. I'm on that huge kick right now with that realism, and I think that you can really make it work. And I think it's the same way that the wrestlers are on television today and making right. It works so well that Vince McMahon said, "Everybody off Twitch, I want 30% or I want 60% or whatever percentage he want from it." That's how much it worked. Is people they wanted to play a game or watch Ronda or all these wrestlers play these games on Twitch, right? To where he had to get some money out of them, but they're probably just being themselves, and people are understanding that when I'm doing wrestling, it's like I'm on The Walking Dead, right? And you're talking to the old guys who are also like really trying to capture that kayfabe and keep it alive, but we also have to understand where is wrestling evolving to these days, and that's what I think. It's evolving into that realism. Let me in on who you are and who Aunt Heidi is. Don't kayfabe me. Don't insult me. I know what kayfabe is. I'm a smart mark, you know. So they know that. So I try to let people in, not letting them all the way in, not letting them all the way behind the scenes. So that's what I definitely think that would be great. You could combine it. You can have a couple of different channels. But yeah, I would maybe focus on the one because it's a lot of work to do that. I looked at the clock and it said 8:17. And I'm always like really, I'm always telling these guys, Mongo, hey, Coach Wooden always told me to starting on time, ending on time. I just look at the clock. Time flies when you're having a great time. I want to go through the names, so I want to officially end it here. Hey, if everyone's got to leave, I understand you got to leave. I understand. So please do. I'll post the video. If you can stay, we're still going to go through we're going to talk a little bit about gigging, and I'll go through the video about how to make the gig. I won't actually cut my head on the on live today, but we'll talk about it and let you guys know, let everybody know. So yeah, look at everyone. It's like, oh, come on, cut your head up, right? But I posted on YouTube, and YouTube doesn't want any blood. They don't want any blood. I guess I could put it in black and white. Now I got to edit a lot more. But yeah, but we'll talk a little bit about that. I know some people had put up some of their names. Hari Curry. I'm sorry, Mongo. Did you want to add something on that?
Yeah, really real quick to Christian, uploading your promos to videos. I would title tag them Christian's first promo match or Christian's first promo because it's really cool. You got to think in a few years from now, if you have kids or family or whatever, they could always look back and see what you did when you were younger. I mean, right now is a great times when we talk about about the great times. The great times are now. So like 5 years from now, we're gonna say, hey, Chris, remember Zoom, and you uploaded your first promo package, and people are gonna go back and look at it and say, oh, cool, look how she evolved to the beautiful star she is today. So, promote it, put it out there.
We have a name here, Richter Chains. I think it sounds good. I might spell it Richter with CH. I don't know. That's just me right off the bat. Sounds very gimmicky to me. Richter Chains sounds like something I would see in a Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone movie. That would be the heel, Richter Chains. You know what I mean? So is that bad? I don't know. That's my first thought about it. Hari Curry. I fear that maybe it's easy. I look at it, Hari Curry. Simple. I think when I first glance on it, I get kind of like, oh, how do you say that shit? Like, what is that? So that's my first thought about it. Definitely Curry. Curry sounds kind of cool. It could be, you could shorten it. I don't know if it actually means something. I'm sure it does, right? What does it mean?
It's what samurais do when they lose. They like stab their stomach and then somebody beheads them. So
yeah,
it's
okay,
like
all right.
suicide.
I mean, I think it could definitely work. Let's see, Rain. Did Rain just said Rain? I think Rain sounds legitimate, right? Maybe what's your last name? I don't know, like the guys from Channel 7, the guys Mountain Rains,
Yeah.
right? And then there's another guy,
Rains.
Dallas Rains. Johnny Mountain was the other guy. Like, come on, you're not real. That's not your real name. But maybe add to the name. I would say I think Rain can work, right? Going again, telling everybody don't have a single name, but I'm Chaos. One syllable name. They can't even chant it. Chaos. I guess they could. I think that works. Living Zed said Acid Rain. Sage said Icky Hate. Is that, am I saying that right? Icky Hate. And then another one is Silhouette. Silhouette as a name, maybe as a last name. Sage Silhouette, maybe. Maybe we could spell it the same way, pronounce it different. Icky Hate. I don't know if it for your name. I don't know. I think I like Sage Sin. Icky Hate sounds. I don't know if that's does sound right to me. That's just right off the bat, right? It's not about proving me wrong. Are you hey, Matt? Are you asking us Death? What do I think of Death Calhoun?
No, I was actually going to ask you about something much worse, probably.
What's that?
So, one of the characters I want to eventually do is Death Calhoun's mom. And I was going to do it as one word, your mom. And she talks in third person. So she would be like, your mom thinks you're a piece of trash. Your mom can't stand you. And all of this kind of stuff, and go all dragged out and like divine looking. So is that too much? Like,
is that too much as in
did I lose everyone? I don't know. Like, that was just always like one of the things I wanted to do. Like, full on, because like it'll be a thing where I play the character, and like so I would be all dragged out in a crazy red sequence singlet thing, and be your mom.
I mean, I know dudes that don't play that shit. I really do. Like, hey, you tell me says something about my mom, I'm like, stop. You can't bait me. You can't bait me. But I know guys, you say anything about their mom, those are like killing words. Am I wrong?
No, I totally agree.
If that's the name of the character,
I know. I totally understand what you're saying. It's a little confusing to me right off the bat, just to think about it. Will
Yeah.
it work or not work? I don't know, right? It goes back to let's see and let's throw something, let's throw everything to the wall and see what works and what doesn't work. Um, but it's just really, a lot of it's trial and error, right? We go back to the rock elbow. Rock elbow sounds corny as shit before I've seen it. If we're talking about 1997, when we're coming off of ECW and all this hardcore wrestling, and the rock elbow sounds like garbage to me. Sounds like fucking garbage. So, but you got to try it and do it, and then it becomes the most electrifying move in professional wrestling at the time. So I think that's what a lot of it is like, right? Do I think, like, am I the answer to say everything will work? I don't know. I can give you my opinion, what I think. I think it's a little confusing right off the bat. Maybe it needs a little bit more explaining. But there's some storylines in professional wrestling that are just right out my one ear and out the other. Like I just don't comprehend it. Does that mean everybody's like that? No, no. Everybody's different, right? It's all subjective on what we like. Um, Mongo, do you want to add something on that?
Yes. Uh, this is just me personally. I'm a little bit more serious with when it comes to wrestling. Chaos kind of breaks that and allows a lot of other stuff in that. It was a little bit confusing, and at the same time, do you see yourself representing my company at a heavyweight championship level? So, like when you just said it, I just saw you. Okay, he's going to be more of my comedian matches, not more of my serious matches. Unless you could prove yourself that you belong there in those serious matches and main event matches. Right when you're describing it to me, I just saw it as second and third match, comedian match, or something like that, because you got to structure those shows. So, just depending on how you create that character and you present them, really.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about, and we're going to close it up and we're going to wrap it up. And I know it's the end of the 6 weeks, but we're going to talk a little bit about gigging in pro wrestling. What's gigging? Gigging, it's not about getting a booking, it's about getting color, right? Red means green, blood, crimson mask over your face. Um, and I have a video that that I'll show everybody, and I'll actually show you how to actually make the gig. What you want to do is you want to get double-edged razor blades. You know, you never want to get just a razor blade from Staples, a box cutter. I remember Carl Anderson asked me, "Can you make me a blade?" Because he knew I was from XPW, and he gave me a box cutter, like, man, one of these thick ass razor blades. And I was like, wow, like he doesn't even know how to make the blade. Now at that time I think he was already in New Japan Wrestling, like the early years of New Japan Wrestling. And so that's why I talk about blading. That's why I talk about gigging. Do I recommend you do it? No, hell no. I don't recommend you do it. But I feel that if you're a professional wrestler, I don't. If I was an asshole to Carl Anderson, I would have totally made that blade with that box cutter, and then it would have cut him up and it put a big fucking scar. We don't use that shit. We use a double-edged blade that you get from CVS. I think they use it for shaving, right? Shaving or something like that. And that's why I explain blading to the students. I don't recommend anybody do it, right? I mean, I used to wrestle full on blood all over my chest, and lock up with another guy, and he'd have full on blood all over their face and chest, and just be wrestling in blood, all crazy and stupid, because we watched a lot of Japanese death matches. We watched Mick Foley bleeding, and Ric Flair, oh my gosh, with his blonde hair, and I loved having blonde hair and bleeding with my blonde hair, and just loved watching it and loved the color for it. So I always say, it's just like the chairs, don't do it. Don't bleed. WWE doesn't even let you bleed. Primetime Live doesn't let you bleed. I'm sure AEW doesn't let you bleed. I don't know what Ring of Honor, probably the same thing, because they're on stadium TV and they're probably not letting you bleed, right? But what happens, right? We're watching a lot of these wrestlers as we come up. We're seeing some of these wrestlers bleed, and it makes us go, I want to do that one day. So I have to show you. I feel like it's my duty because you are a pro wrestler, but don't do it, But it is my duty because you're going to come to me like Carl Anderson one day with a box cutter, and an asshole wrestler is going to make that gig with a box cutter, and it's a shitty shitty thing. It'll fucking cut your fucking head open. You probably need stitches. But if you do it this way, should you get stitches? Yes. Do you need them? Nah, you don't need them. You know, scars on your head are like a badge of courage. When I went to TJ to wrestle for the first time, I was introducing myself as a worker. Hey, I'm Joey. I'm K. I wrestle as Chaos. I'm a worker, and 9 times out of 10, everybody would say, "I know." Oh, really? You know my work? No, I don't know your work. I see your head. It's all cut up. You look like a worker. You're like, oh, okay, you're not watching my shit, but you know I'm a worker, right? It's that badge of honor right there, of having that. But how do we do it? How do we actually, right? What is it? What do? We take this little razor blade, and I'll show you how to make it in the video. Take this little razor blade, and we hide it. And when the time comes, we get what we call color. And maybe there's a chair involved, maybe there's a steel post involved, maybe it's the guardrail, maybe it's the steel steps. You get slammed into it, and you end up gigging, quote unquote, gigging, getting color. Okay, so there's little tricks that we can do, right? So, like, I've seen people gig, like just straight up do this, right? You're supposed to lay on your stomach. Imagine if I'm laying on my stomach and I'm gigging, and so it kind of looks like this. And that's like really like kind of blatantly showing what I'm doing. I'm actually doing it. Right? You can see what I would do is probably do something like that and covering it up, going under the ring, not relying on camera angles. You know, I wouldn't worry about relying on camera angles, right? That the camera angle didn't catch it, because sometimes these camera guys catch. They don't understand. They're camera guys. They're not wrestling guys. They start filming you doing this shit, right? So I would really cover it up. And what am I doing when I'm doing that, right? I pulled my razor blade out. You know, I might have it in my wrist. If I'm Ric Flair, I'm going to have it in my finger so I could just bend my finger and the point will pop out right here, you know. But what am I doing when I take it? You know, I'm actually sticking that razor blade in until I hear a pop. I hear my skin go. You don't hear it. You actually just hear it in your head, I think. And you feel it pop, and you just kind of pull. And I usually stick it in, twist, and pull. And that's what I would normally do. Stick it in, twist the razor blade, and pull across just a little bit. Some people will just take a lightness and just kind of scrape it across, kind of like a cat scratching you. You have a bunch of little lines, but it starts pouring down. Okay, so say you get color, and you get color, right? You're sticking, like Mick Foley will stick and just twist. Chaos will stick, twist, and pull, right? I need to make sure I get color. Some guys will just kind of go across just like this, right? Holding that blade. But what do I do? Okay, so I'm gigging for the first time. It's going to go one or two ways. You're either going to get too much blood because you don't know what you're doing, and you just cut yourself too deep, and it's just blood everywhere. It almost freaks you the fuck out. Or you're going to get a little trickle of blood that's actually mixed in with your sweat, and it looks like garbage. It looks like terrible shit. Looks terrible. So that's how you're going to go on your first time. It's either going to go overboard or not enough. So understand that right from the go. Okay, so say you do it and you're like, fuck, there's blood everywhere. I can feel it. It's just not my fucking sweat. Because you got to figure it out. Right? But the first thing everybody does is they're laying down or on their stomach, and they gig, and they look up and they see this blood dripping on the floor, right? You're dripping it on my fucking canvas, number one. Oh my God, I hate that shit. Right? You're dripping it on my canvas. But also, all that blood is dripping on the canvas. Right now, the canvas is going to look cool with all this blood, not you. So the first thing you want to do is, after you're actually covering up and you're doing this, and you blade, first thing you want to do, and you know you got some good blood because you saw 2 or 3 drops, you roll over to your back and you just lay there, and you let that blood just fall across your head like this, right? And you could feel it. Now you're laying there. Now what do? Right? Don't get up like this, right? What's going to happen? All that blood's going to fall there. Now, what do you see Triple H doing? He starts getting up like this, and he's even squeezing. He's squeezing, right? What's he squeezing the blood out? Like, right? I think if he took a shot or two or drink a beer before, all that blood would be thin. Take an aspirin. All right, maybe you don't drink. Take an aspirin. You'll thin your blood out. And then when you cut, it'll just start pouring, right? But what else is Triple H doing? He's sitting up, and now the blood went across when you lay down. Now it's coming down over your face, creating what we call a crimson mask. And if you're lucky and you have enough blood, that blood will drip down onto your chest. And now we're really talking. Now we're really talking. Like now it's looking great. You got blonde hair, it looks incredible. You don't even have to do a great gig job, man. That blood goes everywhere on that platinum blonde hair. So it makes it look great. So now you're sitting up and it's just coming out. Um, and hopefully that's the finish. Hopefully you don't have to keep wrestling during the match, right? I think that might, I don't know. I just wouldn't recommend it. I don't know. We used to do it back in the day. We're crazy stupid though, man. Wrestling with blood. And have you ever wrestled somebody? Right, you just haven't. But imagine wrestling somebody where you could smell the iron in their blood. Is how much they're bleeding. It's fucking disgusting, right? That's disgusting, right? As unsanitary, all the right. We could name like how terrible it is. Are you still going to want to do it? Maybe, yeah, I think there's still a 50-50 chance each and every one of you still want to fucking do it after me telling you no. But also learning how to make that blade and what to use is so important. Mongo. I'm going to have Mongo, and Ruby's still here, and I want Ruby. Ruby, what do you have to, Ruby, let's go Mongo first, and then Ruby. What do you have to add to that, Fifo?
Okay. The old man in me says, I've never used any razor blades. I've always used this. Okay, but really, guys, what I do is I'll have a few beers. I'll have 1 or 2 beers because I'm not trying to get drunk. I'm just trying to thin out my blood, because your first goal in a professional wrestling match is your opponent's safety, so you're not trying to get fucked up. You're just, excuse my language, you're just trying to get just thin out your blood, 1 or 2 beers or a shot. You could also even take a couple aspirins. That will thin out your blood. And most people, they're scared of this, but the best way to describe it is if you get your fingernail and you push against your forehead hard and you go like that, that's the way a razor blade feels. And some people will be like, well, I might go too deep. Like, you're really going to cut your brains. You got your skull right there. So you can't go deep. The only deep you could go is as far as your skin on your forehead. Like I said, just get your nail pushed down hard against it. If you use a brand new razor blade, I shouldn't have to tell you this, but use a brand new razor blade, goes straight into your skin. You don't even feel anything. And then once you go across, that's it. And then you'll feel the blood coming down. But that's the best way I could describe blading is just get your fingernail, scrape it across your forehead, and that's the way it feels. Actually, when you do it with the blade, it's actually a nicer cut because you don't feel anything. You feel it touch your skull, and then you'll actually feel the heat, the blood coming down.
I agree. Take that nail and put it across. That's what it fucking feels like, actually. That's exactly what it fucking feels like. Yeah.
Your nail, go like that, and that's all it feels.
Yeah. Ruby.
No, thank you. I will not be dragging any blades across my skin. Though I have gigged in matches before. I have a very different method. I don't make a slicer. I make a poker. And all it is you have the blade and it's wrapped, as you'll see in the video. Instead of putting it in twisting or putting it in dragging, you make it a little bit different, and all you literally have to do is just go poke, 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 poke. And you're poking till you hear the pop, just about 3, 4, however many times you decide that you have to go for how much blood you need to get. And I've gotten bloodied just fine like that. I don't drink the day of. I might have like a little bit the day of, but I'll drink the night before. That way my blood's thinned out, and when it comes day of the show, then I'm taking the ibuprofen. But yeah, I don't like the whole slicing. I don't want any scars on my skin from razor blades. I like my face. I like my hairline, or my nose line, and I just poke. That's it. I've never gotten any scars, and it heals up super quick.
Real quick, guys, I don't like scars either. So what you want to do is after you do gig, you want to close that up, butterfly it, and put Neosporin. Take care of it. Chaos, hey, he likes it all cut up, fresh, just everything. Me personally, I don't like scars. Another thing too, Ruby, your poking method, that scares me right there because that's like 3 or 4 times with the slice. It's one poke and just do it. So I think you're a little bit more sadistic than I am.
I don't know, because like y'all have to sit down there and do the thing. I just like it's, and I feel like you have like a smaller hand movement too, because you just pat pat pat. I don't know.
Hey, right? What works for you? I would never give my gig. I would always make my own gig, and I would never give my gig to a ref to give to me in the match. Come on, be a wrestler. Be a wrestler. Hide it somewhere. Hey, if it cuts you open, then you'll learn. Hey, never put it there again, right? Don't put it on your wrist where you bend and it starts stabbing you. I've done that, right? Don't put it on right here where it starts stabbing you. I've done that. You'll find the spot that'll work, right? You know, Ric Flair used to hide his blade in his mouth. Can you imagine that? Like hides like hell no, I can't imagine that. Yeah, right. Oh, and then these guys talk about no scar. I love it. That was my badge of honor, right? That's what opened the door. Oh, come right in. He's one of the boys right here. This is one of the boys, right? Have you ever seen Abdul the Butcher or Devon Dudley or even Supreme's forehead all tore up? And the worst part is Supreme would go this way. Supreme would. I'd recommend going this way. These crazy motherfuckers would go up and down, you know. But you're also talking to a guy who looked up to Sabu, and when I talked to Sabu, I'd look at his nose, and I'd say, look at his nose. And I'd go over to Billy, and I'd say, Billy, did you see his nose? He says, yeah, man, with that gig marks? I go, I think those were fucking gig marks on his fucking nose. And so I go, you know what? I think that's a great way to simulate that you have a broken nose, right? We always gig right here, the forehead, right in the middle of the forehead. So one day I went and I took that gig and I gigged right here on my fucking nose. There's a scar there you can't see on this video. But I gigged right on that nose and it was beautiful. It looked like Supreme had smashed my nose and broke my fucking nose because that's where the blood was just coming down right there like a boxer. And it made me think about like I don't want to just do my forehead. I actually always wanted to kind of go, as I got smarter, I wanted to go over, and I actually want to go lower, even though can't still hit that vein. I'm crazy stupid, though. Don't be fucking gigging, number one. You know? Don't be gigging. But I would never give my gig to the referee, and I would never ask somebody to do it for you. I mean, Supreme used to do it. Supreme used to do it. And he used to go, I'm gonna cut this motherfucker off. Like he would. He would. And I'd be like, yeah, he should be doing it his fucking self. He should do it himself. You want me to do all right? Fuck, you wanted color. You want a good color too, and Supreme would get you. Oh my gosh, but I've heard that before. Gig me because I don't know how to do it or I'm too scared. Hey, if you're gonna gig, do it yourself. You know, do it yourself. I say, did you want to add to that?
Can I? Yeah, I did. I so did. I'm sorry. I was waiting for it. You probably could tell. I was like, well, for the sake of Supreme, for the love of God, please kayfabe at least afterwards and wear a fucking Band-Aid over and don't walk around like showing off your big ass scar or cut mark on your head. But also consider altitude. If you're in different areas and locations, sometimes you don't bleed as much. So that's something to really consider. And yeah, that's probably a bad idea to have somebody else hand it to you, but you can use your people around you to make sure, if you have a manager, if you have that referee to kind of check your color and stuff like that. But yeah, you kind of hit the nose on gigging your nose or like gigging your arm or just gigging random spots instead of just your head. Exactly. And Ruby, like you said, the poke instead. There's different methods, different ways. Everybody has different methods. You'll see those lucha guys with those crazy ass fucking, you can tell everybody that has their different ways. But yeah, thanks.
Could I say something on that?
You're a bleeder?
No, just something from visualizing and studying. In the Jake Atlas match, I think he was facing Ray Rosas. He would be wiping it off, and then I heard Joey you'd be like, "No, don't wipe it off. All the color's gone." So like, when you see the blood there, don't wipe it off. No. Yeah.
No, because you want to take pictures afterwards too, right? Don't wipe it away. Don't. If you got a shirt, don't wipe it. Let it bleed. Let it dry on your face. Yes. But yeah, don't wipe. Yeah, he was fucking. Why you bleed? Why you going to wipe it away, man? Hey, have it wiped away on the guy's fucking ribs or something. I don't know. But yeah, someone asked about the mass transit situation, right? Mass transit was a guy in ECW who got cut up by New Jack. I think he asked New Jack to give him the blade, right? Yeah, That would tell me you're untrained too. Maybe I'm not as mean as New Jack was, or Supreme, but yeah, I mean, if you're putting me in a match, I don't know how I feel. Like, who this fucking guy? He don't even know how to do his own gig, and he don't even know how to get laid. Why is he doing it then? Oh, you want me to do it? Okay, I'll cut you up good. That's why I wouldn't. That's why I would do it myself, right? I honestly, I wouldn't do it. I think each and every one of you, within a wrestling career, can become way more creative than we were yesteryear, with how you can handle your wrestling. And that's what I always say. Like, don't go outside. Don't use a chair. Right in the middle of the ring, I think you're creative enough to do that. So, um, I think yes. Thanks, Ruby. We appreciate it. Yeah, we
Thank
loved
you guys.
having you.
Thanks for having me. I'm sorry. I gotta give gotta give my friend a ride somewhere.
I know
and
we're
she's waiting
over
on me.
time.
So
I know.
I'm so sorry. I love this part of the class too. So but thank you guys for having me here and there. And hopefully we'll see you guys around Santino sometime soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ruby. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share a page. This is what's going to show you how to make the blade itself, and how you're doing it. And right, there's different ways, trial and errors. Who taught the teachers? Who taught somebody how to do this? Nobody. They just said, I want to get blood. So what am I going to do? Right? How does Brock Lesnar do it? That's a crazy, right? Crazy, stupid motherfucker. You know what he does? He doesn't use a blade. He takes his fucking head and rams his head into the fucking pole and until it cuts, right? That's what he does. There's no color unless he's just incredibly. That's my conclusion to it. Someone correct me and say, no, Joe, you're just a mark, man. He blades himself. I think he actually just rams his fucking head into the fucking pole. Sorry, Marco, go ahead.
It's the way I was taught was very tough. My trainer, Vern Langdon, he gave me like 10 stiff punches, with the flat part of his fist right to the forehead. So all the blood rushes to right here. And then he bit me, and that's how he cut me up, and that's how the blood came out. And that was the hard way. And they probably said, forget this. There has to be an easier way to, produce these kind of matches with blood. And I think they probably say the razor blade is probably the easiest way to go. But like Chaos was saying earlier, with this new COVID thing and everything, you definitely want to cut your own blades, have them in your pocket. You don't know where the referee's pocket's been. You don't know where anyone else's hands are been or anything like that. And I would always recommend putting 2 just in case you want one. And if that's the expectation of the match, sometimes you get whipped off and stuff like that. Your tapes fall off or anything like that. So definitely have 2 and hold your own stuff,
Yeah, I think that's so important is have 2 because you will lose one. Maybe you pull one out, the tape will be too far in where it doesn't work. So always have 2. So, all right, and then so we're gonna bring into conclusion. But before we do that, I'm going to actually show you a 5-minute video on how to actually make that gig. So let me just get that together here, and I hope everyone can see that. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make our blade. Okay, so I have my double-edged blade right here. I have my scissors, and I have my wrist tape. Okay, so what we want to do first is this double-edged blade. Obviously, right, each side has a blade, so there's 2 blades on there. That's why it's double-edged. Importantly about this is that it is flexible. Okay. So we want to have it flexible. What I want to do is just fold it in half like a piece of paper, and that's going to break it in half. Okay. So, and I want to save this for another blade. I think out of 1 blade you can make easily 4 blades, possibly more. What I want to do is I have my blade right here. I want to take this middle piece away. So I'm just going to cut that out, just like this. Okay, so this right here is throwaway. I'm going to toss that. And I want my blade here. And what I'll do is I'm just going to cut this right in half. Okay, and I can make 2 blades here. I could probably make a lot more. Okay, so but for beginners, we'll just make 2. Okay, so as we look at our tip, the one we didn't cut, we can use that piece right here. Okay. the way I personally like to do it, I like to have an edge, a sharp edge. So I'm just going to take this scissors and cut my blade just down. Okay, just like that. So now I have an edge. So you see the difference there? Okay, so now as I have my, take my tape, okay, and since we have two pieces, I'll be able to do that here. Okay, so, and what I want to do is I just want to take this. I just want a little bit of the blade sticking out. Fold it over, just like this. Okay, and that's what I want for mine. That's how I like to have mine look like. Supreme would do it differently. Or I could take this one, same thing, fold it in half. Some people like just very little bit of the blade sticking out. I like having a prominent. In the heat of the battle, I like just looking at this blade and saying, I know what side to cut my head with. And it's that one with the blade. Here, it's going to be that side right there. Okay, so we have our two, just like that. We made our blades just like a shank. Okay, and then now I want to take my tape, and I want to just put some wrist tape on. Okay, some people hide their blade other places. Hand wide open, right? Just like that. Okay, I'm going to tape it just like that. Okay, now all I want to do is just take my blade and put it there. And I want a little significant piece sticking out. It's obviously not the blade part. And just like that, okay? If you want, you can go over again. It's your preference. As long as your tape job is pretty good, that should be fine there for me. It shouldn't come off. I usually will tape all the way up to the hand, so you won't see this sticking out right there. But in the heat of the battle, you know, you're getting hit with the chair, you're getting hit with the ring post, whatever the case is, the cage, you're able to just put your hand right over here and just pull it out and have it on standby, just like that, okay? And you pull it out right when you're ready to do it, so that way you can go ahead and gig without anyone seeing. But see, as I pull it out in the heat of the battle, I like to see that blade right there, okay? Once again, if I want to put it back in, and I've tested this out, right? So if I bend my hand this way, it's not going to cut me or anything like that. You want to make sure that your blade doesn't cut your own hand. I've seen it happen before. So that's why you want just a little bit to stick out. You don't want the blade to be too much, so that way you can just pull it out. Some people will have a backup blade. Okay, you'll learn that the first time that you lose your blade and you're supposed to gig, that, hey, put a backup one in, you know, and you probably don't want to put a backup one. You could put a backup one in the same hand. I usually will now put it on the second hand, okay? Hand wide open, break it, open it up, put my blade down, put it right back over. And so now I have my blades. Now, obviously, I put it up a little bit, my tape all the way up to here, so I can't see that. So depending on how you're going to do it, you can even put it down here, so this won't show at all. I like to have it right there on that bend. It's right there, ready to go. Pull it out. And you got both yours, both your blades. So there you have it. Thank you guys for tuning into my video here. I'm Joey Chaos at Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll catch you on the next video. All right, so right, little tricks of the trade, making sure that that you have that double-edged blade, which is the thin one. You could just break with just by bending it right in half, which I think is so important. And then I mentioned, like, you pull it out right before you're going to use it. Like, I would pull it out like right before the spot, because the worst thing is to see you get hit with a chair and then do this. Right, I'd pull it out and already have it in my hand and try to figure out. Right, that's why Ric Flair has it in his mouth, right there, ready to go. You know, so do I recommend it? No, but I think as wrestlers we should know how to do it. We should know what we're doing, because there's going to come that instance where you're going to want to do it, or someone's going to want to make a blade, no one knows how to do it, and they're going to want color, right? Try to maybe educate them and help them out a little bit on that blade. So, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing it whatsoever. Be more creative in it. Or maybe do it the Brock Lesnar way, right, Mongo? So, all right. So, I mean, that kind of finishes and concludes the online course. I really appreciate being with everybody throughout the last 6 weeks, going through the promos and the match breakdown and the storytelling.
I don't have a determined date on when we're going to open up just as of right now, but I'll give you a list of schools that you can actually go to, you can actually find, and see what place will work best for you, because I know people are anxious to get started and anxious to get their wrestling journey underway. So I want to keep this network. I'm going to actually send you another Santino Brothers alumni group. This will be the official group. There's about 100, I don't know, 130 students, former students or alumni in this group. And it's just really on just being they're available for all the news and updates, just because I know I will go to that one first, and the secondary will be the group that we're in now on Facebook. So I'll link you guys to that. I'll also link you to all these schools that you can contact. And then also I want you to feel that you have this network, right? You have now Mongo, Ruby, myself, even Jake and Brody, that you can reach out to the same questions that you've asked me. Hey, I'm looking to start getting into wrestling. What do you think of this name? And it always goes a long way, right? Chaos is always looking for George Animal Steel to really help him in his path on his journey. So I really love working with everybody. I saw the improvement, right? Class doesn't stop here. There's so much that we can continue to work on with watching wrestling, educating ourselves in wrestling, and most importantly, is working on our character and our personality, because it's not something that we're going to figure out. It's going to be figure out right now. It's going to be something that's going to take time to develop. Mongo, did you want to add something to that?
No, I'm very proud of you guys for taking this class. It really shows that you're taking this seriously. And from a co-worker of yours, I look at that. I look at who invested in their career, who takes their career seriously, and I think it's a huge step forward that you guys got some knowledge. So when you guys do step into the ring, you guys know what these guys are saying. You guys understand, because I feel like before, when we tried to explain this stuff, they weren't grasping it like you guys are now. So I'm sorry, you guys are a step ahead. I'm very proud of you guys.
And let's utilize the notes. Let's make sure to utilize the notes. Take them, put them on your own file on your computer, write them down, do what you got to do, because it's a lot of knowledge. And some of the knowledge might, like I said, you may not understand, you may not completely get right now until you're smartened up a little bit more to understand what we're explaining, which will help you on your journey in professional wrestling. So hold on to those notes, get a notebook, right, along with your hammer and sponge in your bag. Get a notebook and write everything down. Right, I know we all keep it on our phones, but get that notebook and come up with some great ideas. And I hope to see you and help everybody on their journey and help them guide everybody on your journey. Right, no matter what school you go to, you always have me as a coach to help you out in any quest that you may have. And I find that, right, it's not about even teaching the moves so much as it is in helping the young grapplers as yourself, just in life, and I really just kind of help. And that's how Brody and I and Jake and I and a lot of the wrestlers, Eli and Heather, have that bond. It's just because I just help them and teach them what didn't work in my wrestling career, and I hope that they avoid that so they don't have to go through that same mistake. And I hope that I can help you out along that way also. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Let's keep in contact. Let's keep in contact with that group chat or with that group on Facebook. And I also want everybody here to get a camaraderie because there's nothing like your first class in professional wrestling. You have that bond that we talked about, Jericho and Lance Storm. They have that bond for life. So it was a pleasure and an honor to work with each and every one of you. And don't feel that this has got to be goodbye, right? You can always contact me. You have my Facebook, you have my information, and I definitely want to help you along the way. So this will be just, for the moment, this will be the last one, but we'll definitely do it. Hopefully we'll be able to do it live. Everyone brings their hand to the camera, Mongo, and we go out. Santino's on 3. Santino's on 3. 1, 2, 3. Santino. Oh, everybody, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you all. Gosh, look at that, Mongo. You see Kristen, she's got the eyes and the hat. It's incredible. Awesome. That is great. So, all right, everybody. I want everybody to have a good night. Be safe. Keep the dream alive. It's so important. Keep the dream going. Take what you learned, and now let's start to take it to that next level. And let's keep it going. It's not going to be easy, but I'm there to help you, and Mongo will be there to help you along the way. So everybody have a good night. Let's watch some Monday Night Raw, Monday Night Football. All right, everybody, take care.
Night, guys. Thank you for everything.
Bye, fam.